Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast number 81. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, joined here in studio by Johnny V in our glorious Milwaukee setup here. Not quite like the Florida I was just in, Johnny.
No, it's not.
In fact, Wisconsin's expecting snow anywhere from 3 to 10 inches in various parts of Wisconsin this week. So not exactly what I was looking forward to coming home to, but we're here. We're glad we could be here. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. It's going to be pretty heavy on the Throw It on the Mountain action. We've got first Dynamite. He's going to give us some news and updates from around the sport, give us some stats and details from various tournaments. Then we're going to be able to move over to Michael Barnett of Sun King Discs. He's going to tell us about his relationship, what he's been doing with Discraft this year, what he will be doing, and then also be able to help recap a little bit about his huge event, the Throw Down the Mountain 4. And as we part ways with Mike Barnett, we're going to move over to our champion of the Throw Down the Mountain 4. Spoiler alert, Austin Turner took it down, and he's going to be joining us. He's actually at the Charlotte Putting League right now, so he's going to join us. Maybe he's a champion there too. We don't know, but we'll have him join the show, tell you guys what it's like here in his first full rookie season playing in the PDGA as a professional. So we're excited to get some news and updates from him. Not what I would say a household name yet, and the key word there is yet, because he's got a huge future in front of him, a very, very talented individual, and we're looking forward to getting some insight from him, because he's going to blow up.
We're going to try something new this week.
What's that?
Working.
Have it work.
We have this new technology. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it before. It's called a cable.
Wow. Like Time Warner cable? Because they've been awesome.
They've been awesome. No, what we have now is a 100-foot cable that runs from my PC straight up to the upstairs studio.
Yep.
Known as my living room.
Penthouse.
The penthouse.
Yep.
Known as my living room.
Okay.
And it's plugged right into the router. We're not going to rely on Wi-Fi. We're not going to rely on any of that other crap. We're just going to go straight up hardwire.
Folks, you're hearing it here. This is new technology here at Smashbox. We're going hardwired Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
Cat 5 as the industry.
Cat 5e.
Ooh.
I was too cheap to buy the Cat 6 cable.
Wow.
So,
okay. Well, that's what we'll have for you tonight. So I'm going to give you guys a quick reminder or two. We talked to our good friend and Smashy of the show, Jay Redding. Him and Des, world champions, are sitting there watching our show. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for the feedback. But we do want to quickly remind you, on YouTube, on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a gear. Click on that. You can adjust the resolution if you need to, but you can also change the speed. I don't think you want to watch this in slow-mo.
Well, you can't change the speed. I don't think you
can't change it live.
I don't think you can change it live.
No, but you can change it if you're watching this any other time after it's been posted. You can move it to 1.25 or 1.5 speed, and it'll probably move along just fine for you. So if you're complaining that our podcasts are too long, just hit the speed up button. You'll get through them quicker. And you can also do that on a ton of your podcast apps. Specifically, I found my favorite to be Stitcher, like I know yourself, like you use, right? Pocket Cast?
Bingo.
Okay, one of those. Pocket Cast. That's my favorite.
Pocket Cast. Yeah, that's the one I told you to download. You've been using it?
Yes, Pocket Cast I have.
Pocket Cast. It's the best one. Go out there and get it.
There you go. So always available out there. And I think we're going to see some new stuff from Jay Redding at some point as well. So stay tuned for that. So without further ado, we've got our weekend updates. I feel like we're stealing a line from SNL there, but weekend updates. Let's get him on the show. The beautiful, the beloved Dynamite Bitchy.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Hey, Dana. Oh, are you the Unabomber? What are you?
What's going on there, boys?
You have to talk right away because then I get nervous. That's suddenly like, oh my God, he doesn't have audio.
He froze up.
He froze up.
No, we're glad to have you. How you doing, buddy?
Long time no see.
I'm doing good. Minus you guys sounding like robots. I don't know if we're having some internet connections at my house or if it's on your end or not. Am I coming in clear?
You are coming in loud and clear.
All right, I can deal with it if you guys can.
We're good.
So I'm just I'm doing good though. I had a busy weekend. I didn't play this last weekend. I ran an event, and I know it's not a national event, but I want to talk about the Pine Hills Experiment. It was a PDGA C tier in Ottawa, Illinois, and we had a sold-out field. And for those that don't know, Pine Hills is a golf course, and I have been running disc golf tournaments there for the past 5 years now. Kind of crazy that it's been 5 years, but set up the course in the late fall. Run a fall tournament, run an ice bowl, and then I run a spring tournament. And this was my spring tournament, and dubbed the Pine Hills Experiment. But
why is it an experiment?
Yeah.
What are you doing that's
It's been 5 years,
experimental?
bro. Yeah, it's been 5 years.
You ain't got it figured out yet? You got some sort of theory you can throw at us?
we're doing some experimenting there.
Okay.
Okay.
Like Terry did in college?
I was
a
just
little...
going to say post-college
Probably not like the
experimenting.
experimenting Terry was doing in college, but
Anyway.
So, anyways, like you said, I'll hop right into it. Division winners included Chris Sirota, who won advanced. He actually had the best score on the day, beating even the open field. Advanced women, Christina Kallstrom, TJ Homer Stimson, Wickapaw won advanced masters. Scott Malley, intermediate. Corey Rains, rec. And then on the novice division, we had a pretty big novice field as well. Ryan Bauder. So congratulations to all the winners there. Thank you for coming out and helping make another successful event at Pine Hills. On the open side, friend of the show and Ledgestone tournament director extraordinaire, Nate Heinold. Yes, he doesn't just raise money and run the biggest, baddest tournament of the year.
Or post proving of him proving he's got a girlfriend. He's been doing a lot of lately.
He also plays disc golf, and he took down the win at Pine Hills over Taylor Samala and Dave Kosiba. So congratulations to Nate. It's nice to. He was kind of a late decision on coming down to play, and I'd say it was probably a good decision for Nate.
What would you suppose made for not only the late decision of him coming to play, but for so many other people? I mean, we were working on your registration, just a few days prior, and you were concerned about the kind of turnout, and there wasn't a beautiful forecast for you. So what do you suppose that was? That all of a sudden just the threat of it selling out and somebody was on the fence, and then all of a sudden, it just kind of picked up steam from there, but all of a sudden it just tons of spots sold literally in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was really actually worried that we were going to have a really small field and that Pine Hills was going to be maybe upset that I didn't bring in, closing the course for the day, that, they want to see a big turnout. And I was ready to, have a talk with them and, say, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on here. It's maybe the weather, maybe it's me. I don't know. But, no, I posted some updates, and all of a sudden registration started coming in, and then it was like, made a little Facebook post saying, hey, we're getting close to filling up, and then boom, 20 people sign up on, maybe more than 20 people on Friday alone. And the event actually filled up Friday night, and for whatever reason, the forecast really was not that great, which kind of surprised me with the people signing up going into it knowing that the weather might not be that great. But we got lucky. The weather was great. The course played really well. It was an easier layout. I usually push par into the mid to low 60s, but due to some changes I had to make out there and some wet spots, it ended up being a lot easier of a course, but the fun factor was really high. So, I've been running tournaments there for a while, and it's a lot of fun just to go out to a golf course and have the restaurant and the bar afterwards, and nice place to go in between rounds. And then, of course, golf carts. What disc golfer doesn't like cruising around on a golf cart? So I think all those things played into the late registration boom and I think it worked out. There's, we had a bunch of CTPs, had Discmania donated some minis for the player packs, so it was ended up being a pretty good day.
How late after the event did people hang around at the country club? Did people hang around for another half hour, couple hours, or do they kind of just, once it's done, the golf course says, "All right, guys, thanks for coming"?
You know what? Usually, we've got a pretty good crew of players that hang out and catch dinner and have a few drinks and there's tons of TVs and really nice bar and restaurant. And just hang out and
watch some tourney action, NCAA.
Yep. But actually, this time it was a slightly different crowd. There was a lot of new faces, and for whatever reason, there weren't a whole lot of golfers that stuck around and hung out, and myself included. I actually, as soon as I could, hit the road and got home, and I was actually able to put my daughter to bed. So that tells you she goes to bed by 7 o'clock. So that tells you how, and it's a 45-minute drive for me. Wow. So that tells you how early things closed up. But
that tells me how efficient Dana is as a TD.
Yeah, you're the best.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. Everything kind of worked out, and actually, some of the guys went out and played doubles afterwards, and they may have stayed. They probably stayed and ate and maybe had a few drinks, but historically, people were there pretty late, hanging out and having a good time. But yeah, this time I was out and I wanted to go hang out with my wife and baby. So, but good times nonetheless. Thank you to Pine Hills. If anybody out there has a golf course, and that you live by or know of a golf course that's struggling, and disc golf might work out there, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to try and help you get a disc golf course there. So you can message me on Facebook.
Cool.
But, all right. So other than your massive C tier, was there anything else going on in the country that you want to talk about?
No, there was no other tournament.
No, really, none.
Everyone. There's a new PDGA rule. There's about a 7,000-mile radius for Dana events that no one can run in another event.
Exactly.
Yep. Me and Big Dog are pretty tight. I was like, hey, Big Dog, I'm running the C tier. Don't, No, there were some other tournaments, and I was actually listening to the Inside the Circle podcast with
I don't know that podcast.
Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
No,
am I allowed to
heard
say
of him?
inside?
No.
Am I allowed to talk about
Never
that?
heard of him.
Disc Golf Answer Man.
Somebody should talk about him because nobody.
Hey-oh. Ching. Okay, so
yeah, go for it. What do you got?
Sure.
So I was listening to their Inside the Circle podcast today, where they were making their picks for the St. Patrick's Day Classic, which is out in Orangeville, California, and it's with Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Dixon Jowers, and Eric McCabe. But they make their picks much like Yuli's picks, very similar. I don't know where the idea came from or whatever, but anyways, it was kind of humorous listening to it today because they busted out some breaking information that Ricky Wysocki was dropping from the event. They said, getting word that Ricky is injured and he's not going to play in the event.
And if there's one group of guys you can believe, it would be teammates.
Or
you would
that
think
should know.
that should know.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder how that worked out for him.
So it was kind of funny listening to them scramble to make some different picks, and none of them, I don't think any of them ended up picking Ricky. Newsflash to my Smashies and all those inside. What do they call the people that listen to Inside the Circle? Circle. No, I don't know. I didn't mean
that would
cool
be great.
I'm just joking. That just came out of nowhere.
Good thing you already withdrew from
anyways.
GBO.
Yeah, because I think you were about to get withdrawn.
Well, Ricky did play, and you know what? Ricky shredded. He posted. Not only did he post an 1100 rated round. Round 3 was rated 1100 on the dot unofficially. We'll see if it stays that high, but nonetheless, it was obviously a great round. but Rick just stomped the stiff competition. Nico finished in second place, averaging 1050 golf, or right around there. So Rick won by 9 over Nico, and then Nico beat third place, Philo Brathwaite, by 8 strokes. So,
yeah, it was a 2-man race going into the last round, where I mean they were only separated by like 2 strokes, or 3 strokes going into that, and then like you said, Ricky just kind of put his foot down.
Yeah, sake bomb went off.
Really?
Maybe that's bad timing today.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's his official nickname. Yeah, the sake bomb went off.
Yeah. So congratulations to Rick for hitting that 1100. I didn't have a chance to look to see who had the last 1100 rated round. Do either of you guys know?
I'm gonna guess Macbeth. I don't know. I mean, just toss one out there. I honestly don't know. That's a good question. And who knows? I mean, there could be. Someone had said that there was a gentleman who shot 18 down at an A tier just recently.
Yeah. I was gonna kind of mention that event.
Okay.
That was at the IDGC actually, at John Matlock on the Steady Ed course, and I saw some chatter on that. And Chuck Kennedy actually, who designed the course, hopped in and said that's a blue level par. So really, if it was a gold level, so if it was real par, it would have been 4 or 5 strokes difference. So instead of 18 under, he would have been at maybe 14 under. But John did get an ace during that round, and then 2 other eagles. But again, the par questionable, and then we're getting into a whole can of worms about blue level par and gold level par. Just give me one par.
Yeah, shooting 18 down, regardless of the course, we've always said, is quite a feat. So congratulations.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't 18 twos. We're talking.
Correct.
We're
An
calling
ace,
some of these
eagles.
par 5. They're calling par 5s that are really par 4s because they're, at the NT this last year, guys were 3-ing it, and the par really wasn't appropriate. But nonetheless, not to take anything away from John Matlock's great round, but shooting better than John over the weekend at the IDGC was Will Schustrick. Will went out and he played some really, really good disc golf and got himself a win. But I want to sidestep back to California. I don't want to forget about the ladies. Nicole Bradley edged out Sarah Holcomb by 1 throw. They were tied going into the final round, and Nicole posted a 964 rated round to Sarah's 954 and got the victory. While I love to see Sarah win, she's a good friend of mine. It's nice to see another lady play well and get an A-tier victory.
Yeah, and Leslie Todd taking third, who's slowly coming back into her own after taking years and years off.
Yeah, Leslie's she's a great putt. If I had Leslie's putting, I might have gotten the top 10 at the World Tour last week.
Let's not push it. So, we had, I know I mistakenly had said 2 or 3 different times that there was only 2 A-tiers going on in the weekend, thinking of the St. Patrick's Day Classic and then the one that I was at. But we also had, as you said, the IDGC, and then we had the Throw Down the Mountain. Obviously, we're going to have Mike Barnett up in a few minutes, and we're going to talk to him about some of it. It's kind of funny, I'll let you know, Dana, too, that Mike is doing a million things running this huge tournament. He's like, I haven't watched any coverage. I don't even hardly know what's going on. I mean, you're just, as you know, you're just writing scores on scorecards, and you're not really realizing what the storylines or how things are playing out. But some great information that we'll get from Mike regarding that. Was there anything about that event, without too much to it, was there anything about that event that stuck out to you that you saw for the Throw Down the Mountain?
Yeah, I mean, just I'm looking forward to hearing, you tell us about you or Mike or whomever tell us about how it all worked out and how Austin beat Ken Climo, the most storied disc golfer of all time, the Michael Jordan of our sport, for this teenager to take him down on the last hole is pretty exciting. And I know there's, I don't know, was that you where did I see about Rookie of the Year, people talking maybe AB, Anthony Barela, is a lock for Rookie of the Year. I mean, this Austin Turner, I've been watching his scores and keeping an eye on him from a distance, and he's a lefty. He's a gamer. He's got good forehand, good putter. He seems, I don't know, Terry, you could probably, we'll find out here in a little bit, but he seems like he's got a really good head on his shoulders. Plays a lot of events. He seems pretty motivated. So I think that it's going to be, Anthony hit the 1,000 rated mark. What's Austin at?
Austin, I think, just went to 997 as of today, but
Okay.
had this event been included, which obviously it's not, but had this last weekend, I think he would have easily pushed in, over to 1,000.
He'll be 1,000 probably at the next ratings
so,
update. I mean, I think it's going to be a 2-horse race between those two, and I'm not counting Isaac out from Illinois,
can't count Isaac out.
But it seems like those Barella and Austin are going to be the ones that are going to probably make the most waves right now. But we'll see. We've been wrong, I think, on this podcast.
You.
Right? All right. Just me.
Go ahead, admit it. So no, it will be good. And to real quickly to touch on Austin's, he's a left-handed player, as you said, throws a forehand. His forehands look better than any one of our 3 backhands. I mean, they're just that amazing. He's a solid player with great game, and it's going to be an exciting year, definitely, to see how that race shakes out with the two of them, for sure.
Yeah. I think what is probably going to bode well for Austin is I think he's going to be playing a lot more events than Anthony.
I think so as well.
That's just an assumption. I don't know. I haven't talked to either of the kids, but looking historically at their events, I would guess that Austin, especially living in North Carolina, we're going to see him able to get out and compete a lot more versus AB being in Arizona, and other than staying inside the state, he's going to have it's a bit more traveling to get to more events and bigger events. So it's going to be fun to watch. And then, like Johnny said, Isaac Imac here in Illinois he's creeping up towards 1,000. I have no doubt he's going to hit it, and he's getting bigger and bigger and better every day. So it's exciting. It's going to be an exciting year to watch watch these rookies and see what happens. And it's probably going to be the best Rookie of the Year race we've had in some time.
Yeah, and then as someone mentioned on our board, our good friend in Smashy, Chris Cobb, it's certainly worth mentioning. We had the husband-wife combo, Kat and Paul, both get themselves a victory this weekend as they were out competing as well. And we'll be trying to catch up with Paul, more than likely actually in the after show tonight when we get to some Yuli's picks.
We'll see. Maybe we can squeeze him at the very end of the show. Or we'll do after show. Who knows?
Whatever. So we'll be able to catch up with him a little bit as well. So very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Dana, you got anything else for us, buddy?
Yeah. I've got a big hug to throw out there.
Okay.
It's kind of a different big hug, but Paul Macbeth's brother, is it John?
John. Well, he's got a few of them.
He's got 2 brothers.
John's the one that was, doing a lot of the recording and walking and traveling with him for a year there. Excuse me.
Yeah. John posted I don't know where it is. I'm trying to find it right now, but he posted a pretty funny meme on his Facebook page about people seeing Macbeth signed up for a tournament and then showing up and seeing that it's actually John, not Paul. He posted like a picture of a giraffe that was really fat and didn't have a tall neck, but it's when you fail to live up to everyone's expectations or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, I see.
But really funny. John's a nice guy. He's I kind of got to know him when he was out on tour shooting some video with Paul. He's a fun guy to hang around with, and obviously has a sense of humor. So big hug to John.
Good call. Yeah, he says when people see my last name and then they see me play, he says he doesn't quite live up to expectations. So, yeah, that is pretty funny. Some people may even think, well, maybe that's Paul. He just signed up, with an alias.
He doesn't want people to know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hurt his rating.
And I was just gonna say real quick before we part, Paul Macbeth moving yet again, raising the bar, 1056. Sure, it's only a point, 1055 to 1056, but yet again, the highest rated player of all time. And who
those
even
points
has
are hard
the
to
second
get.
highest? I didn't even look today. Is it
It's
is it
got to be
Ricky?
Ricky.
I think
I don't know.
fairly certain it's
I
Ricky.
haven't had a chance to look what he's at, but Rick's in the 1040s unless he dropped below that. But I doubt that. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
No, that's
Wasn't
fine.
part of the script, Terry. Jeez, put me on the spot.
Well, I was just
Ricky is 1044 at the moment. So Ricky went up too. Ricky went up a point. And yeah, I think Rick showed us this week, how he played this weekend, what he's capable of, and well, I'm looking forward to some head-to-head battles between Paul and Rick, and seeing whether Rick can pull ahead or Paul keeps it close, and like the LA Times article and all that.
now you're just trying to stir stuff up again.
He's trolling.
No.
Dana's trolling.
Yeah, we love
No,
it.
actually, I watched the Pro Tour video
Yeah.
Steve Dodge put out in the past couple days that interviewed both
Yep.
Paul, Will,
I think-
and Ricky, and asked them about the LA Times article.
Yeah, I think that was the
So-
same one we showed during the memorial.
Yeah, we published that during the memorial, actually.
Yeah, and then
Oh wow!
no,
Nice.
I'm just
So-
well, geez, I mean,
Check your stats, bro.
no, yeah, but I think that was pretty much the same one
No,
that
it
we.
is.
It? I didn't know if he added anything at the end. Someone had said something about something at the end.
Yeah, there's like a minute of black screen. So
Oh, sweet.
I don't know who did that.
no,
Joe
no,
White?
no,
No, it's not Joe, actually. I know what that's
Yeah.
for, though. That black screen is actually going to get filled up by, I think, like their closing kind of thing, and then they'll chop whatever. But
All right.
cool stuff.
I was just kidding, Joe.
Cool stuff, bro. Cool stuff, bro. All right, we're gonna
right.
kick you off the podcast for at least a week. Your band
Yep.
until next Tuesday, because we need to get to Mr. Mike Barnett, who's waiting. Yep. Put your hood up. Go back to your family.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Alrighty, Dynamite. Is it me or is he a little bit behind on the LA Times, pardon the pun? But it seems like he's a little bit behind if he's just watching that video. Of course.
Well,
I'm just saying we kind of put that out during the.
we did, but yeah,
Yeah, he should have been watching. That's all.
he should have. He wasn't playing, so
It's not going to be a smashy. All right, so in just a few seconds here, we're going to have Mike Barnett join us on the line. Mike, of course, the tournament director. He's also taking on a few other roles, and I'm going to talk to him about that. We'll get the scoop. Mike's been a huge mover and shaker in disc golf for a number of years now.
Yeah, we've known this guy for a long time.
A really long time. And this year, like I said, he's got some new and exciting stuff. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome him to the show. We've got Mike Barnett of Sun King Discs. How you doing tonight, pal?
Great, Terry Miller. Thanks for asking.
Okay, well, it's let's start here. You've got to be exhausted. You've just spent essentially 2+ weeks running the tournaments. You had 2 different weekends to do, and then breakdown, and you had set up and pre-work before all of that even. How are you holding up?
Definitely a little tired. It comes with the territory this time of year. It's definitely a run the gauntlet type situation. And just actually tonight's my second night back in the house, my house, and then of those 2 nights, this is the first one I was actually like participating and living in it, because I came home last night and just went right to bed. So.
Now, when you're down, tell everyone a little bit about the geography, actually, of where you're at and what you normally do on a day in and day out basis versus being out near Brooksville putting this tournament on.
Yeah, Sun King, my company, we're based out of Sarasota, Florida now, and we, typically will, run our day-to-day retail operation and wholesale operation, and deal with a lot of the same things that any real retail, outfit would do. And also, just a lot of prep, usually in the evenings for me, early mornings as well, for getting, events done, registration up. It's this time of the year in Florida is really, really busy. As you can imagine, we've got great weather this time of year, and we're running and gunning. I've got, I think I only have 1 or 2 more weekends off between now and June.
Okay.
So, it's our wheelhouse. We gotta get in and get them all in, and before the heat and the rain starts in the summer.
Well, get in it where you fit in, as I like to say. So this summer, and I talk about the Pro Tour, I think of Am Worlds and such. You've been very active, but this year you've got some additional roles and tasks. Tell us what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, we've kind of had a meeting of the minds and a come together with Discraft, and they saw some value in having a veteran outfit. I guess that's the term to use when you do things long enough.
Yeah, when you've been around the scene long enough, it's nicer than calling you old. It's a veteran of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyway, we're looking to take a little bit of work off their plate at some of the larger scale events throughout the year. We're going to be helping run their retail operations at some of those events so that they don't necessarily need to tie up, some of their staff, ownership, management, into, the lowly job of selling Frisbees to disc golfers and the like.
Well, now, as you said, you've been a retail operation for a lot of years. How exactly how many has it been? Was it 2001 or so?
2001, yeah. So 15 years coming up here real quick.
And I see you obviously all around the country, and I think of Am Worlds, you helping at Am Worlds, you vending at places like Am Worlds, Bowling Green, so on and so forth. There's very few people that are as experienced and as traveled as yourself. What have you learned throughout the years? And I know that's a pretty big question, but maybe give us a couple of the most important or critical things you've learned that you can share.
I think it's interesting to see how things are done slightly different or dramatically different around the country. Just simple league play. Concepts that people come up with, for example, the putting league in the brewery or bar, which seems to be kind of a hot thing these days. I know here in Florida there's a bunch of them going on, and I think around the United States too. But first time I saw that was in Nashville a few years ago. But just things like that, you pick up little things, you try and absorb it and see if things like that you're not familiar with may fit and give you some benefit in things that you're doing. Definitely the people. I mean, disc golf is not short of colorful characters.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So just that. I mean, I definitely look forward to some of these trips to go change the scenery, get out of town, and go meet new folks and learn a little bit of something along the way, hopefully.
Well, and for instance, one of the things that you had picked up and latched on very early to was the infusion of Can Jam. And I know you were running leagues and, a distributor of Can Jam. And I know I got on board with it too eventually. Like it's a really fun game to play. And, it's all part of that Frisbee family. So for you to be hosting leagues and like I said, selling and distributing them, it's a perfect fit when you think about anything in the Frisbee world. Now, you are working with Discraft and having this retail operation. Are there going to be some events along the way that you're then, going to be hosting as you move throughout the country?
Yeah, well, basically what we're going to do is we're going to continue our model, that's kind of been adopted by a variety of retailers at this point, and it's the smartest way to do it. And that is to, run events and, grow the sport, if you will, and give folks a chance that may not get, often with, a whole lot of tournaments in their area. You can always find, clubs or courses along the way that are looking for, any chance to get people out to play a little bit more. But yeah, we've got some, basically our Tour del Sol, which is the nickname that I, Tour of the Sun, if you will, where I'm going and heading. And we'll convert all that over to Discraft specific events and even DGA. They're along for the ride on this too.
Nice.
Part of the deal. So we're just looking at kind of just change. The concept is the same. We're just changing our partners on the deal. We'll mosey up through the southeast, as I call our Southern Spring Swing, and we'll get up to BG here in a few weeks. I can't believe it. I think it's about a month away at this point.
They sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll be bouncing around on, I think, 4 or maybe 5 different tours throughout the rest of the year to get to the events that we need to represent Discraft at.
Awesome. Well, Discraft is very supportive of Smashbox and the things that we've been doing. We appreciate them. We were glad to be there for the AM Worlds when we saw, Austin Turner, or now champion, this last weekend. And Discraft also stepped up. They said they have a new driver out. It's the Undertaker, a 1.4 are the numbers. So I'm going to this is just a super impromptu giveaway here while Mike's on the line, because I already know the answer for him. Ooh. The first person to answer correctly here, Mike Barnett's favorite baseball team, is going to win a pair of Undertakers. So just post it in the comments, and the first correct answer will win. We'll see if anyone can get that.
I don't even know the answer.
It's kind of a trick question, right?
It kind of is. That's what I love about it. And people that know you or could research you, there you go. Trevor Hook's got it. Ooh, Dana was close. Trevor Hook is our winner. It's the Cubs. Mike is from the Chicagoland area and is a big fan of the Cubs. And there you have it. So Trevor Hook, message us, smashbox.tv/winners.
Yep.
And fill out the form. And Discraft said they'll gladly get a pair of Undertakers sent out to you, which I guess is kind of a scary thing to say.
Yeah, some Undertakers will show up at your house.
Right at your doorstep. Open carefully.
Better than Reapers?
Something like that.
They're all neighbors, yeah.
So thank you.
It's funny. I saw a thing on Facebook tonight, a little meme that said, if you're a Cubs fan, your best day still has not hit you yet.
There you go. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've been saying that we're in Milwaukee here, so we got a lot of Cubs fans in the area. I've been telling them, you guys got like 4 good years left, and that's all you got. And you got all your rookies, you got all your young guys. You better do it in 4 years.
Well,
yeah, I was really, thinking last year with the whole Back to the Future tie-in and them making that run. That would have been really, really special.
Been epic.
Well, maybe even Back to the Future 9 comes. No. So let's talk a little bit about the Throwdown the Mountain course. For those who don't already know, it's a completely temporary effort, annual temporary effort, in that you and a crew and just this massive organization of volunteers and helpers come out. You trim trees and bushes and clear things, and this year you created a couple new fairways and new angles at baskets. Explain what the experience is like for everyone, from your perspective.
Yeah, I don't know any other tournament that requires this much prep, and I'm not trying to take anything away from some of the large scale events. When I'm talking in a physical sense, to get the course ready every year, I think it's 66 acres proper. Wow. And I think we probably use about 50 or 55 of that. And it is an old limestone quarry, an old mining operation that was on some very unique property to begin with. In this particular part, this is north of Tampa, Brooksville, in Hernando County there. And there's a bunch of these mining operations that were, I think, started around the turn of the century, maybe 20s, somewhere in there. And most, I'm going to guess at this point, all of them have been abandoned once they run out of their usefulness. But so basically, you're digging straight down into this limestone, and it creates these very un-Florida-like conditions, and for topography and the like, with the things that grow out there too. I really don't see sawgrass really outside that area, and it grows rampant out there. And but we do a work day about 30 days prior to the event to get kind of a handle on everything, a head start, if you will. And then we kind of chip away at some of the other tasks as we get closer. But it's an active farm the other 50 weeks of the year that we're not out there.
Jeez.
So yeah, we've got a couple, 2, 3 dozen cattle running out there. There's 4 horses, and it's by the way, that's a whole nother layer of the mystique is when people are out there practicing early in the week and the animals are still out there and haven't come off and they're trying to play around them. Um, but yeah, we do a work day and we buy lunch for everybody and do some fun stuff, some fun activities, and it's not surprising that we get a whole bunch of people that are willing to give up a day just to be out on that amazing property. Prior to the throwdown events, it was a permanent course for about 10 years, maybe 12 years, somewhere in that range. And
Simply known as the
owners,
Canyon, right?
yes, correct.
Yep. Okay.
So yeah, it's every year we go out there, and I will tell you that I personally believe if the cattle weren't out there doing what they do, eating grass and leaving their evidence of it all over the place, I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't be able to run those events out there. It would just be that overgrown.
So there's plenty of action going on when you're out there, and that's the number one thing people talk about. This being my third year, thank you for having me down. This being the third year down there, anyone, you say a word to them about the course and they just say, we don't have this anywhere else.
Not in Florida.
And they're just, people are so genuinely excited. And not to take anything away from it, I look at it and I go, okay, that's not a mountain. That's a hill that might be in my backyard here in Wisconsin. But again, when you're in that area and you're so used to playing, essentially flat courses and maybe a little water mixed in, this course you have elevation. I guess I'd have to sit back and think about it, but there's probably not a single flat hole on that whole course now that I think about it.
There's a couple on the back 9 that are 11 and
slight inclines,
12,
but sure.
13, yeah. But yeah, but that's really about it. I mean, everything else is some type of elevation in play, and just having elevation, like what you're saying, having elevation to begin with, let alone dramatic extreme elevation, and basically every single hole, there's something going on, and it really can confuse the newcomers for sure. They just have no idea.
It does. These people, I'll say that year after year, these people, some of them just seem genuinely lost. I even commented during commentary on one of the video blogs, like, I see a lot of people throwing into the ground, and I just think they're flat out, pardon the pun, they're flat out not used to, having to deal with a little bit of elevation, and
it's what we grew up on, so we take it for granted.
Yeah, so it's an awesome piece of property. And now every year there's a little bit of a talk or chatter about what it would take to buy it. Should there be a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe, or if 10,000 disc golfers each donated $10 or whatever the numbers are. But that property is somewhere in the $1 million price point. Is that the general idea, right?
Yeah, the background on it was when the current owners bought it. It was kind of during the bubble of 07 and 08 with all the different property going crazy. And I haven't looked at the numbers in a while, but I think the assessed value is about a third or so of what they're asking for it. And the family is just super content on just, not really doing anything with it. They definitely don't want to, take a loss on their investment, and they just assume go ahead and keep it in the family at this point. So, which is at some level good for us, as long as the idea is, I say us meaning disc golfers, if we can continue to have this relationship and do things out there, it's just it's maybe it's not a full-time disc golf course, but it's also not being developed into something else for other use.
Well, and speaking to that, you talk about the enormous effort that it is and all the golfers and the people, but then it comes with a substantial price to being there. And, I know you work out an agreement with the landowner so that you can be on site for a few weeks on the property, but then you have your staff and your crew. This event, whether it's been out of your own pocket or someone stepping up like Discraft this year, it's quite an endeavor for you to be out there doing it.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of man hours, including the volunteer hours prior to the event. Yeah, I mean, I basically lived on that course about 12 hours a day for a couple of weeks. Uh-oh, did I lose you?
No,
I just turned off the video. You got a little pixelated, so I thought I'd.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
no,
all
you're
right.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, but basically we live out there, and me and a couple of guys that work at the shop, Jimmy and Chris, and there's just all kinds of prep that goes into it. I mean, I guess the people love coming out there and playing, and at the end of the day, it's starting to get dark out. We're like, come on, go home, get out of here, and I don't blame them for wanting to stay, but we've got a lot of hours in at that point, and it's awesome to see it come alive. I definitely am rewarded with that and getting that event going. Especially, I used to live, just 10 minutes down the road before I relocated to Sarasota. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a lengthy, and that's what I was saying earlier about the preparation for it is like none other that I see or partake in throughout the rest of the year. Because the gates open during the week about 9 o'clock, usually a little bit earlier, and so that means we've got to be out there setting up an hour before that, and then that time of the year it's getting dark about 9-10 hours later, and the people are staying that entire time. There's somebody out there slinging discs around, so.
And possibly maybe or may not losing one or two or chasing a few extras down because of that elevation. So give us a quick recap of your first weekend, which was more AM-based, and then this last weekend before we cut away and get the open scoop out of Austin. But what's your recap of the 2 weekends?
I was the weekend one, which is basically recreational, intermediate, some of the age protected advanced divisions. We played a shorter layout. In fact, one of the whole 10 was I think about 100 feet shorter, and it played really smooth. We got an absolute ton of compliments on the little tweaks that we made this year for just making the course run smoother. When you have something that big and tall, really a tall course, and in addition to being 60 acres, lots of things can go wrong. You might not be aware of it. It's not like being in a park setting where you may be able to see a lot of the holes. You're really up top, and so that's why I'm constantly on the move. But I think we were just under 200 players for both weekends. We had some last minute drops and things like that, which is typical for most events. But it's a testament to the course and the love of the course that people want to come out and put their skills to the test out there. But yeah, I think it was a great success. We had Discraft and DGA did an awesome job with the players packs. Did some titanium, some crystal. The new sail from DGA was in there. We had unbelievable trophies. The DGA trophy baskets for first, and we actually repurposed one of the trees that we had to cut down to open a new hole due to some flooding issues that were found prior to the workday. And we actually took a tree and made, I think, about 25 second and third place trophies out of them.
Yeah,
so
those were awesome. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about taking a little piece of the course home with you, literally.
Yeah.
As you said, you said that during the award ceremony that tree was part of the course, and now it's going to be on their mantle or hanging up or wherever they're going to put it.
Or on their neck, they're just making a necklace out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's what they should be doing with it. Any parting shots before we cut you loose and we move over to your champion? And now I know you said you haven't really gotten a chance to catch up on all the tournament footage. You've been traveling and you've been busy, but any final shots or thoughts for us before we let you go?
Yeah, I think I think we're just hitting stride with this event. I think I was kind of playing back to your last question too. I was really surprised at how many folks, it was their first time either coming up and playing during the open practice or playing in the tournament. And, here we are 4 years into it. I think we're just going to keep getting, bigger and bigger. We've actually, when we were running the tournament in January the last few years, We actually had more household names, if you will, showing up for the MPO and FPO divisions, and took a little bit of a hit. I had no clue that the World Tour was coming. I mean, they didn't tell me, so it kind of threw us for a
They
little
didn't tell the
curveball.
air tier that was 200 miles away from it either, but that doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but I just think we're really going to come into our own with this event the next couple of years with just really the word getting out and the time of year. It's perfect Florida weather, and I definitely don't want to take anything away from the level of skill that was on display this past weekend in the pro divisions because when you start looking at the scores and the guys and girls throwing those scores, I was thoroughly impressed with what was going on out there, even though I haven't seen it like actually like live or I guess at this point taped on your efforts. But I can't wait to get a look because it's one of those things that as we move forward, I hope to have more and more folks in position the next couple of years, bigger staff, so that I can actually get out there and enjoy a little bit more of it. So I appreciate you coming down and doing everything. And Johnny, you got a good right hand man over there for the show and doing good things, guys.
Well, we appreciate it. We
hope we can get down there live sometime.
Yeah, one of these days, we can possibly put out a live effort with people wanting to watch it. But if not,
then you can watch right from the TD station.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just have to move
You
around.
can just hang out there. But I want to just again say thank you because my third year in a row being down there, I'd love to continue to come down. I feel like I know that course as well as some of the players, and it's fun watching it evolve, watching it grow, as you moved in from January to March to fit the extra players and then multiple weekends and maybe even more weekends. I know the efforts you put in and your staff and your crew and your volunteers, it's really nothing short of monumental, and it's enormous. So I really appreciate it, especially as a TD myself. I know what you're doing out there. So it's great to be there. And yeah, it's great to be there, and it's great to see, like you said, people like DGA, Discraft, Sun King, all of you guys step up the way you have to make it all possible. So we really appreciate it, and I think the whole world that sits back and actually enjoys some of the vlog coverage will see just how amazing that property is, and people should be scheduling some vacation time down there to come play in the event next year.
And I think it'd just be a matter of time. We got to maybe go to a third weekend or look at doing something to just meet the demand. So your coverage definitely helps, and really appreciate you coming down. It's always good to see you, pal.
All right, you too. All right, well, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate the time. If you stick around and watch the show, you'll see what Austin has to say. He's gonna be on here in just a few minutes.
Awesome.
So, all right, for Sun King,
Go Cubs.
You go Cubs for Sun King and Mike Barnett, along with the presenting sponsor this weekend, Discraft. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you. And we'll see you not too long from now, somewhere out on the tour.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Have a good night. Get your brother on the phone. All right. So there, there we have it again, Michael. Excuse me, little inside joke with Mike and myself. But I know I've said it before. I've been a tournament director more than 200, maybe 250 tournaments. And so to go to an event like that, even though I'm recording, to see what he has to do and what he has to go through. Dana was talking about earlier about being sold out and how much smoother things go, but just all of it.
It's one thing to run a tournament on a normal course.
Yes.
It's a completely another beast to run one on a temp course.
It is. And I've done a number of those on ball golf courses and in other places. I've done it in city parks.
If you're out there and you're playing on a temp course, just go up to TD. Don't even tell him, and just grab him and give him a big hug.
Yeah, the right kind.
The right kind of hug.
And one thing that was an upgrade, and I'll mention it because it was really awesome. Anytime you have a temp course layout, it's more often than not, it's kind of like, oh, Joe's bringing a couple baskets, and this guy's bringing some baskets.
A lot of times you'll get a mixture of baskets, and it's not
one
quite
of the things
what you
that
want.
Mike worked out with them this year, with Discraft being the presenting sponsor, is they had all brand new portable chain stars. So all 18 holes were consistent. They were all chain stars, and that's always a nice touch. And you don't really think about that necessarily until you're playing on 6 different baskets, and you're like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
And that's the nature sometimes of temp events. But
yeah, you can't. it's really tough to be able to wrangle up 18 of the exact same.
So that
baskets.
was part of what they worked on, and it was awesome to see. So it was worth noting for sure that he had 18 brand new chain stars out there for everyone to play on. So thanks again, Mike. We appreciate it. I think we're going to check in with Austin here in just a minute. We're going to see if he, in fact, he may have won more money at this putting league. Somebody had said there was maybe even thousands of dollars added to the final night of this putting competition. So if he can get in place, I think we're ready for him. Joining us now is, in fact, he's our junior under-19 champion from last year, but maybe more importantly now, our Super Tour winner from Throwdown the Mountain, Austin Turner. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
Going on, guys?
Not much.
How did you do at putting league tonight?
That's the question.
That didn't go too well.
Come on. You just got finished taking down Ken Climo, the legend, and you can't take down the putting league.
Well, to me, putting league is more of like a fun type of thing, and
Sure.
then I get more serious when I'm in a tournament. I just get more relaxed.
Wow, that's a unique perspective. So let's start a little bit with your history. How old are you? Because you won the Junior Boys Under-19 last year. How old are you?
17 currently.
Okay.
I'll be 18 in June.
Okay, so you're still a pretty young guy. One of the youngest guys possibly to win an A tier. And how does that feel?
I mean, it definitely feels good. I expected to at least shoot well. You go into a tournament, you always want to win, but you don't really expect to win, especially with the names that are out there. And it definitely feels great to win such a big event, and especially when I was sponsored by Discraft.
Yeah, it seemed also fitting the last few years. Mike's had great support, and then this year with Discraft DGA stepping up and being part of it, and then a Discraft guy comes into town from out of town and takes it down. Now, what's been some of your history? I was talking earlier on the show about your amazing forehand, but what's been some of your history with getting you into golf? Did you play Ultimate, or where did you pick up golf, and how'd you get so involved?
I think when I was about 5 or 6, me and my grandpa went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought a couple discs, and thought they were just like catch and throw discs.
Oh, okay.
And we went to the park and just started throwing them around, and I'm like, this isn't funny anymore because it started hurting a lot.
Okay.
And then I left them outside for about a good 4 or 5 years, and then I found them when I was 10 or 11, and then I have a 9-hole course right across from where I live at. So I just got my disc and decided to go over there one day and start playing.
So now you're in a hotbed of disc golf, being down in the North Carolina area, in the Charlotte area. What do you consider your home course now, or if you're going to go out and get some serious practice in, where might somebody run into you?
I'm really close to Idlewild Park.
Okay.
And Kilbourne.
Sure.
I'm more going towards Kilbourne now, just because it's more backhand and forehand friendly, so I get to work on both shots out there.
And now as you just said, you're only 17 right now. How have you been getting around to the courses? Has it been with other adult buddies that play, or is your mom had to take you? How have you been getting around to the golf courses?
Well, most of my friends got their license when they were 16.
Okay.
I was too busy playing disc golf to do driver's ed.
Okay.
So I never got the chance to, and I was just gonna wait till I was 18, which is a pain right now because all I want to do is go play. But I have some good friends that like to carry me around.
So
I normally pay for their food.
There you go. So now you made some good money this last weekend, and you've cashed in every event you've played in Open thus far since Am Worlds, haven't you?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
That's a nice streak to start out with after Am Worlds.
Yeah, so what are your touring plans here in 2016, and where would people see you?
Touring wise, I have to wait till I get out of high school, which that will be in June sometime, and then right after that I head straight to Vibram. I'll be heading out most likely with Big Germ and Henry Childress out there.
That's a fun crew to roll with.
And then after that, we'll just see where it goes from there. And I applied to college. I'm not sure if I'm going to go. I would like to go, but I also want to see, like, maybe take a year off and see how it goes, but I'm not too sure yet.
Okay. And if you were to go to college, what would you go for?
I applied to Winthrop University.
Thank God.
So,
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
But what?
I can be right there on the course because that's the one course that I feel like it has my name on it because I've been trying to play it for so long, and every time I do Monday qualifying, I either miss it by like 1 or 2 strokes.
Okay. Now, what do you have any particular interest that you think you'd be studying if you go that route?
I was looking into graphic designing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan about making stuff on computers and stuff like that.
Okay. And you'd be better than Big Germ? Is that what you're telling us?
Depends. You know?
I'm just kidding. Big Germ, obviously, with his graphic design background.
Yep.
So you're in, I mentioned, a hotbed of disc golf, but that also means some of the best and stiffest competition around. You know, your Schwebes and your Schultzes and your Big Germs and your Childress, you know, those all come to mind right off the top of my head. Stan McDaniels and so on and so forth. What is that like having such a strong player base and you know, whether they're mentors or helpers? What's that been like, you know, having those influences?
Well, I played a lot with Germ when I was growing up, and I met him. I think the first time I met him was at a tournament. I came in last in juniors, and then we started talking from there on out. And then he's like, "Yeah, you should come play with me." I'm like, "Sounds good." And then after that, he just started teaching me how to start throwing better shots, how to play the game more. And then I met MJ, and he's been doing the exact same thing with me, knowing that we've been teammates. He's just pushing me to keep doing what I'm doing. And of course, Barry is just, he dominates this side of the East Coast. Almost every tournament I'm on, he's always on lead card, and I was gonna push him away from him, but I'll get back up with him soon.
Well, and you know, you're not going to get too many tears from us because we both grew up with Barry, you know, an hour away from us, and he dominated every tournament in Wisconsin for at least 10 or 12 years before moving down there. So we know all too well what that's like.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just gotten a little older and just beats people down there instead. So
He gets sick of beating us up here, and he's like, I'm going to beat some people in a warmer environment.
Being down here in North Carolina, we have a whole bunch of technical short and wood shots. So that's perfect for his rock shots. Every time I see him, he always has a rock in his hands.
Well, yeah, he's many would say he's one of the smoothest throwers in the game. Speaking of smooth throwing, though, your forehand is amazing. I mean, I think I even overheard Kenny saying, you know, he didn't feel like he could get an advantage at any given, you know, place on you, because you have such a good backhand and forehand. Where did you? Is that a Big Germ influence as well?
I guess you can say it is. I played a lot of baseball when I was growing up.
Okay.
And then when I first started, I threw a lot of forehands, but it wasn't accurate at all. And then I've worked on it a lot in the past couple of years to where I can throw about 350 to 4 accurately, and anything after that is just a bonus.
What would you say is your biggest asset right now in terms of what's the strongest part of your game, and how did you get so good at whatever part that is?
I would say right now is putting.
Okay.
Because every day, I mean, in my room right now, I have 2 baskets set up 30 feet apart from each other. And
Wow.
I do that for like 2 hours every day. And then I have 3 baskets in my backyard that I practice on quite a bit. And my dad just elevated one of them. So it makes it a little bit more challenging.
Sweet.
Your parents are pretty supportive of what you're doing in the summers and things like that now?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
My mom is probably one of my biggest supporters. She goes with me to just about every tournament I go to.
Well, she has to give you a ride.
She did up until recently.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
this past weekend, it was like her vacation with my sister. So me and Chris Warfield was driving me around all weekend.
There you go. Nice. And some good support. So one of the questions, and I could ask you or Mike, but how much did you win, and what does a 17-year-old do with that kind of money?
I think I made around $10.25, I believe it was.
Okay.
And I am just saving it now for more tournaments and possibly getting a truck.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny to see substantial. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not
chump change.
No, that's not a bad weekend to golf when you're taking home money like that. And you said Discraft's been really supportive. They've treated you like family. What do they have a bigger plan, or are you still in the process of proving where you may where things may shake out with you and your touring?
Well, last year was my first year with them, and I was put on the junior team right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then after last year, they saw that I was improving pretty well. And then after winning Worlds and then finishing pretty high in a lot of pro tournaments, they decided to bump me up to the core team.
Okay.
But they've been really supportive with me. They talk to me just about almost every day of the week, and they just love what I'm doing and what I'm doing for the sport.
That's awesome. Now, there was always question, especially with your skill sets. We had question when we arrived at Am Worlds, on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever it was. Do you feel like you would have been a good matchup with, say, Isaac and Anthony if you were playing in the regular advanced division, so to speak, at Am Worlds?
I feel like I would have been on lead card, at least maybe like 2 or 3 strokes behind them.
Okay.
I feel like I would have a good chance, but I can't really say too much because I didn't get to practice all the courses.
Sure.
And I know they both played great that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But anything could have happened.
Sure. It's kind of an interesting, to see where you're at now, to see where they're at. You guys are all very competitive. What do you think about the talk that people like me just kind of make up when we talk about things about,
Rookie of the Year
Rookie
and
of the
things
Year.
like that between you and Isaac and Anthony?
Rookie of the Year, that's a good point. That's what I've been trying to get for a while, ever since I started. Definitely got to hit a lot of NTs. I saw Anthony killed it at Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
He lit it up. He's a really good competitor. I have not gotten to play with him yet.
Really? Okay.
That's one thing I would love to do. Would play with him and Isaac.
Well, is Anthony going to be at Vibram?
I honestly, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know Anthony, like Austin, has to worry about high school.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure what he's for sure planning on being at. I know he does want to tour. So it'll be interesting seeing both of you guys out there, almost creating this old school rivalry, Innova, Discraft. That's kind of a yesteryear traditional old school rivalry that's been out there throughout the years. So
No doubt.
that could be kind of interesting. I was just thinking, I was there when Anthony took his first cash. Now, this clearly wasn't your first cash. Was there ever a second guess or a doubt about, after winning Junior Worlds, what you were going to do, as to if you were going to maybe go try for advanced, or did you know you just wanted to go right to the pro division?
I knew I was going to go play pro right afterwards. I didn't know I was going to take cash.
Okay.
You were at the Spike Hazard
I was there for your first cash. Yeah. Yes, actually, now that I think about it, I was there for that.
You're everywhere.
You won
God.
$525 at the Chuck Conley Spike Heiser finale.
It's like when you see $100 or like $150.
Yep.
You're like, I can just take discs for that. You can get like 10 or 12 discs and just keep them or sell them.
Yep. Yeah.
But then when you see like 550 in your face, I'm like, I don't want to have to of trying to sell that many discs, and
I don't want to take home 60 pieces of plastic.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like I made the right decision. I don't want to be stuck in AM for another year.
No,
your skill set says that you're in the right division. You're just shy of 1,000 rated as of right now.
Yeah.
You just took down the greatest disc golfer in the history of our game.
Yeah.
So I think you made the right decision. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little about playing with Kenny and those last couple holes, and what was your mindset, or what was your feeling even?
Oh God. Going into that round was just crazy. Just thinking like I'm on the same lead card as Kenny and Daniel, and we had James Mosier on the card.
Yep.
And Justin Lammers.
Yep.
And just playing that, I just played as myself. I didn't really see him as a threat, because to me he's just another person on the course competing. And I knew I could take him down. I just had to play hole by hole. We had like a three-way tie for first, was it, going to 14?
13 and 14. Yeah, after hole 13, you guys then all birdied. Yeah, you guys all birdied 14, and from that point forward, 14, 15, 16, you guys had a three-way tie. Even moving into 17, there was a three-way tie for first place. So pick us up on hole 17.
Well, going to 14, I actually thought I lost it right there because that hole is a 300-foot shot. It's totally reachable, but everyone else decides to park it. I'm the last on the tee because I take a 4 on the easy par 4.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I let it go, I knew it was going to hyzer right over to the left, nowhere near the basket, and it was about 40 feet away. And I come up to that putt, and then I make it, and I was like, that's a total confidence boost because everyone else is going up to it. And then we get to 15. 15 was a really, really kind of tweener hole 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was easy to reach, but just to try to get up to the basket was the hard part because you had to go through a tight shot off the tee, then skip all the way up the hill onto the left.
Yep.
And then no one ended up even getting inside the circle and birdieing it.
And I'll to follow that up. I watched 3 cards play that through the 3 days, and unfortunately, I'll say I think there were 15 pars in 15 attempts on that hole.
Wow.
Some
Yeah,
people
that
had
was
some
one
people
of
had
the
birdie
par threes I
runs,
never
but
got.
yeah, it was just kind of one of those slightly quirky holes. So you move over to 16, which is one of the shortest holes on the course.
16 was the deuce. You had to take a 2 on that hole. If
Yep.
you didn't, you definitely lose a stroke to the card. I thought I was actually going to ace it, but it just dropped right in front of it, which gave me the easy 2. And then Climo and Lammers both nailed some pretty good putts on that hole.
Yep. And then
And
17, it's still a 3-way tie.
17 was a hole. I thought Lammer was actually going to park it, but his rock shot was fading in at the right time, but it caught that one tree and just snagged him in the OB on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And then Climo gets up and he throws, I think it was an eagle maybe. I don't remember what it was.
His orange T-bird, I think.
T-bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets up and just parks it.
Yep.
And then that puts me into the mindset, like, I have to get it somewhere inside the circle. And I think I put it to about 35 feet. There was like a right to left wind. I was kind of scared about. Might flip over. I threw a crystal stalker on that hole.
Okay.
It was about 330-ish, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's like I think the hole's actually 355.
355?
From the long, yeah.
Yeah, and then we walked up to the tee, or we walked up to the basket. Lammers laid up for his 4. I saw Kenny was underneath the basket, so that putt was probably the biggest putt I had that round, just to keep me in it, and I ended up making that one dead center.
And then you move down to one of the most beautiful holes you'll find in Florida, if not all of disc golf. You're on top of the hill. Kenny throws his tee shot and gets a really bad break, which people will see on the video, but gets a really bad break after throwing a pretty good tee shot. And you still need to execute because even with Kenny taking a penalty, you're going to need to probably 3 the hole to win it outright. So you throw a good tee shot.
The drop zone was very forgiving on that hole.
It is, yep.
If you want to be, yeah. Well, when we got to the tee, we had to wait like 20 minutes because the front card, the second card was taking a little while. So I had a time to like go through my head of what I was gonna do, and there was a very, very strong headwind. That's the one thing I remember.
Yep.
Very strong headwind. And so I took my Buzz OS out of my bag, and I just chucked it as hard as I could straight down the middle, and it ended up fading off to the right. But it was just enough in the fairway where I could get a shot up to the green. And then from there, I think it was about another 300 feet, and I threw that crystal stalker again, and I put it about 25 feet away.
And then you had to make a putt. Kenny got up and down, was looking at probably carding the par 4, and you were staring down 25 feet for birdie, and the win. What was your what were you thinking in that pre-throw routine before you took that final putt?
I said do not miss left, right, or short.
Or high or low.
Or high or low.
Yeah, just make sure you hit the chains, right?
And don't hit too dead center because I had 2 birdie putts spit out back to back.
Okay, so you just wanted to get it dialed in, and yeah, and I wish the timing of it all with my travel, it didn't work out. I wanted to really have, the final round posted even before we had you on tonight, but those will be up probably in the next 24 to 48 hours, and it's going to feature, the front 9 with you, and then have the break, and then move into the back 9, and even though people have heard your story, they saw the live scoring, and we've talked about it. It's going to be awesome to watch because the golf is that good.
Yeah, I saw the bad break that Kenny got. It's worth it just to see that.
Yeah. So and it was an unfortunate break for him, and when it was all said and done, though, you had to capitalize.
You still had to take the par.
Yeah, the birdie actually.
That putt was
Or the
probably
birdie.
one of the most
Par four.
nerve-wracking putts I've ever had to make.
Okay. Well,
Especially with, I mean, the gallery knew how close it was.
Yep.
I knew we were close, but I didn't know if I was beating him or not. So I just thought to myself, I have to make this putt no matter what. And then I just got up, took a deep breath, did my routine, and I nailed it.
Yeah, it was perfect. So while you're thinking about that, and you probably don't even know the answer to this, I'm going to do another Discraft giveaway. We've got 2 more Undertakers, thanks to Bob and Discraft, who supported the event, and your sponsor. So I'll be interested if you know this one off the top of your head, which I don't think you will. But
Is it about the putter?
no.
Oh.
No, that's a good one too. No, we're going to keep it a themed. It's going to be Austin Turner themed. So here's the question, folks. Tell me what Austin Turner's total score was when he won the Junior Under-19 Worlds last year.
All right, so it's some fast Googling action.
This is a fast Google question. Don't say it yet. I'm guessing you don't remember the total score, do you?
I remember the first number. I don't remember the other two.
Okay. So we'll see if who's going to be the fastest Googler. No, total score, not related to par. The total score, Yuli guessed 348. Rick is unfortunately way off at 183 and 146. Total score when he won the Junior Under-19. Oh, this could be all day. Somebody please Google it.
Someone will get it.
You guys aren't even close yet as the comments are all coming in. 257, 300, 301, 201, 160. Come on, guys. Somebody Google it correctly.
I don't think they understand that there's 7 rounds involved.
No, they definitely
Plus
do
the
not.
final 9.
7. There it is. Kevin James, one of your local boys. No, Jenny didn't win with 8675309. Kevin James is the winner, 415.
So, Kevin, go out to smashbox.tv/winners, fill out the little form. We'll get notified. Terry can get you those discs.
Yeah, we'll have them actually probably drop ship straight from our pals over at Discraft, so I'd like to thank them for doing that tonight. So, yes, 415 was your total score when you won the Junior Under-19 Worlds last year.
I was thinking like 430.
Okay, well, there you go, 415. And how many did you win it by? I forgot to look. It was
I believe it was 8.
8. Yeah, it was a pretty comfortable number. All right, do you got anything else for us tonight? I think we got caught up. We everybody, if they didn't know who you were, they certainly do after this weekend. But we got you caught up there. We learned about your history. Give us your plugs. Tell us who supports you. And
I was going to say real quick. I know everybody always asks, what are your go-to drivers and mids?
Yeah, give us a quick
rundown of
I think do you want me to get my bag, or do you just
just kind of tell us what your favorite discs are that you're throwing
through
right
a couple
now.
of your favorite throwers.
Well, all weekend I was throwing Nuke OS and a Nuke. Those are probably my two go-tos for forehands.
Okay.
And then I throw a lot of forces for distance shots.
Okay.
I throw a stalker. I throw one crank. And I throw buzzes, of course. Every Discraft player should have a buzz in their bag.
Yep.
I throw a wasp.
Just the
Buzz OS.
Just the standard buzz or the Buzz OS, all right.
Yeah, and then I have Crystal Challenger and about 4 D Nate Doss Challengers.
Okay.
Excellent.
That makes sense. That sounds like a pretty
Yeah,
solid
it's pretty
lineup.
simple.
Sounds like a winning bag to me.
Yeah, sounds like it wins. All right, give us. You mentioned your mom. You've mentioned some others, but as we let you go here, tell us who's your biggest fans or supporters out there, and that's keeping you doing what you're doing.
The biggest one right now is Discraft. They've done so much for me. Like we said, they treat me just like family for the past year and almost a half now, and I love it. It's great.
Awesome.
Bob, Mike, they're great over there. Probably one of the best team managers I've ever dealt with.
Sweet.
And then we got another round right here.
Mm-hmm.
Disc golf store. It's down in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the Noda area. I just got picked up by them.
Nice.
Awesome.
And just everyone in the Charlotte Disc Golf Club for all their support. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, and your mom.
Yep. Well,
And my mom.
And your
of,
mom.
of
She's over there
course.
talking on the stairs.
Well, we look for. Is she watching right now? You said, or no?
No, she's like stalking me.
Oh, okay.
She's listening, but
All right. Well.
Well, hi, Mom.
Yes. Hi, Mom. Well, we look forward to seeing you on tour this year. Hopefully, we'll get, if we're lucky, or if you play well, we'll see you live at Vibram. We'd love to get you on that card and kind of get you exposed to the whole country live. I think that would be a lot of fun. So
that's actually my birthday weekend, so it should be a lot of fun.
well,
So,
then,
sounds
come
like
on.
you should play well.
That's right.
All right, Austin, we're going to cut you loose. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Congrats on the huge win, and we
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing a little more of you later on in the year.
Sounds good.
All right, have a great night.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Austin.
it, guys.
Take care. And there you have it. As we said, Austin Turner, yeah, until he mentioned it, I remember saying to him after he won, I was there for his biggest AM moment and now his biggest pro moment, but also his first cash, which is another huge moment in any young man's career. So
It is.
It's pretty cool. I got to say thanks to people like Chuck Conley and Mike Barnett and all the other people that do help bring me around the country so that I can be sharing in those moments, watching these guys take their first cashes and to know someone like a Barella and a Turner and these guys that, I was there when I was running the tournament when Paul Macbeth took second in AM Worlds, and to then see where these careers,
You're old.
I'm old, but to see where these careers,
You're a veteran.
yes, move into, that's what's really exciting. So I'm glad we could do it. So, yes, Mom Love rules, as Chris Cobb, our smashy out on the board,
right.
says. Dana, no, you are. We did not delete a comment. I just never saw 415 earlier. Dana's worked up saying that.
No, Dana actually, I was looking. Because I was going to say something. Dana was literally seconds behind. See, you can see right here. Dana 415, Kevin James just literally 2 after Kevin James, according to my
no,
list.
we did not. Nobody deleted anything.
Sorry,
but on
Dana.
our end, we saw 415. Kevin James was the first. So again, Kevin, make sure you go out there, smashbox.tv/winners, and fill that out, because we love some winners here on Smashbox. I think in a few moments we may be able to get Valerie and Nate Doss on the line.
Who?
Yeah, they
Never heard of him.
they've got some big things in the works. We're also, like I said, going to be catching up with Yuli at some point, but they've got some big stuff in the works. And I know they were just on the show giving us some other updates. Nate doing his thing with the junior grant program, and Val working on the women's global event. But they've got a totally different endeavor, and it's going to be nice to step outside the Smashbox, step around it to learn a little something besides just disc golf. So if they're out there and ready to go, I know we will be.
Should we dial them up?
Yeah, if
right.
I'm not sure if they're ready, we'll
I don't
just
know.
assume they
We'll
are.
assume. I saw.
We just tell them, yo, get
on the Smashbox.
on the Skype stuff,
So.
Smash Skype's box, or something like that. That's what we'll tell them. Oh, there they are. Whoops.
Stop
Okay.
talking about
Okay,
them.
here we go. Whoops. All right, welcoming to the show. Wow, and they're even gonna set the stage here for us. We've got
Wow.
Nate and Val. Come by, right? Is that it?
Oh yeah.
Welcome, guys. So, you guys released huge news. I was out there at the Throwdown the Mountain this weekend, and I'm checking Instagram, and I see Val Doss has a new profile or something, and I'm alerted of it. And 3 or 4 clicks later, I'm donating money to some GoFundMe. Jeez.
Appreciate that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's
got
right.
him. No, I'm glad to do so. That's not the point here. But tell us what's going on.
Go ahead, Val.
Well, as Terry's mentioning, and as what's underneath this video, we have officially announced that we're opening our own brewery. It's still a work in progress, but the name and the logo we've announced this week, and it's Bevel Craft Brewing. The name comes from the beveled edge of a disc, comes from our disc golf roots. The beveled edge of the disc is the most important part of our game. It's what changed the Frisbee into the modern day disc we have right now. So we figured that was a really great name, a simple name, a unique name that, you don't really hear too much in the everyday world. And we figured it was a great fit to tie in our disc golf roots with our new venture of owning our own brewery.
Well, and I've got to say, I do love the name.
I do, too.
read the story behind it, and as you just described, the meaning there. I'm glad it's not aces or chains or baskets or Heiser. Like some of our words, albeit unique,
They get overused.
they get overused with so many different things. So it's awesome to see you guys think outside the box a little bit and get a little bit more creative with it. We love it. So what does this mean for the world? Because I know instantly people are saying, where do I buy it? How do I get some? And unless they're in your garage there, I don't think they can. Tell everybody what this really means and what the steps are for you guys.
Well, I would say, first of all, Bevel Craft Brewing right now is just is a dream of ours at the current moment. We've worked, the last 2.5 years writing a business plan, researching beer, brewing recipes at the homebrew level, giving it to friends, having them taste it. It's just been an immense amount of work on top of trying to continue to be professional disc golfers and do the thing that we love so much, which is playing disc golf. So, right now, the beer industry, people need to understand, is a highly regulated industry. It's an alcohol, you're providing alcohol for people of age, and, we have to try to follow all the proper steps to be, properly licensed and, within the state before we can get it into anybody's hands. So, when we announced this, we really just wanted to tell people that, this is something that we really care about. This is something that we truly love, and it's what we want to do once we're done playing disc golf. All the fans out there, all the people out there, don't be worried. We're still going to be playing this year. We're still going to be just as focused as ever. But there is a future endeavor for us on the horizon.
So naturally, one of the criticisms that or second guessing that may come along is, another brewing, or more people brewing beer. Everybody can brew beer these days, and you just said it's regulated. But what do you answer to someone that says, it's a hobby and you're trying to take it to that next level? How do you combat the second guessing maybe that takes place?
Well, we've really only been brewing since 2012, and like Nate says, we're professional disc golfers. That's our full-time job. But as soon as we get off the tour, Nate already has the recipe lined up for literally days after we come off the tour. So it's from the moment we get off tour until we start back up. That's how focused we are on brewing beer. And it's not we're home brewers, but we've been developing these recipes that we're brewing over and over and over again. So we're trying to perfect certain recipes. Nate is the brew master. So I leave it up to him to find the path, and I'm always here to taste that.
So you're here to enjoy. Yeah. You're
That's awfully supportive of you, Val.
That's right. You're a connoisseur.
I mean, the answer that, what I would tell somebody if they said, well, there's a lot of people brewing beer. Well, not to be egotistical, but there's not very many 3-time world champions out there in disc golf brewing beer. So
that's true.
We bring Val in. She's got 3. We got Sharon and Leroy. We're bringing in another 3 world championships with Sharon. And, we got a good thing going. We got a good group of people that are really behind this thing. And, we got good old Frank the Tank back here. So we keep him full over the winter. And it's been a phenomenal ride so far, honestly, just learning beer, reading books. We originally got into it because, being a professional disc golfer can be stressful, and we've learned over our lifetime that it's nice to have a hobby outside of the game, something to get away from it a little bit, something to take your mind off of, maybe those bad rounds or all the great rounds or whatever it might be. And, it's been really a phenomenal ride amongst all the other projects that we have within the sport of disc golf. This is something that we really do truly love and want to do forever.
Go ahead.
What I just didn't know if you had something. Now, we'll fully admit, Johnny V nor myself are hardcore beer drinkers.
I'm a cider guy. So.
And we realize that craft beer, I mean, talk about an acquired taste. I mean, you really have to know the differences as to what's going on. What do you feel like will set yourself apart from the next guy or any other, brewery that's out there?
Well, we love craft beer. We're willing to try every beer, but our favorite beer, we love IPAs.
Okay.
And we hear from a lot of people that the people that don't like IPAs, they don't like the bitterness, they're not into hoppy. There's so much more to an IPA than most people think. So we want to develop our brewery around the IPA. There's 120 varieties of hops out there, ranging from the bitter hops all the way to the aromatic hops, from fruity hops to piney and citrusy to skunky. There's this huge variety of hops, so you can't necessarily say, I don't like hops or I don't like bitter, because there's this huge range. So we're hoping to take that into our selection of beers. So starting from a light, maybe a fruity light session beer, like we brewed for Fiddlehead when we did that understable, all the way up to something that would be more of an acquired taste, your true IPA lover, something that's seriously bitter, very hoppy, might have the skunky or the piney strong flavors, so we're going to have a range of everything in between. And then mixing in, different malts to make red IPAs, brown IPAs, go into the black IPAs, and everything in between. So we got a good range. I mean, most places just have one IPA. It's probably going to be bitter. It's going to be everything you expect an IPA should be, but we're going to have a good selection.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started thinking about brewing craft beer and all this and that, and we're going into these different breweries and things, started thinking, well, every brewery has this standard set of beers. Generally, there's an IPA, a pale ale, a brown, a stout. There's usually a good variety at every brewery, and most breweries do one of them really, really well, and the other 3 or 4 or 5 they do pretty good, or maybe not so good, depending on what brewery you're at. But I started looking into how beer is made and the process that it takes and what goes into it, and I thought, how can I seriously think to myself that I can do this as good or better than everybody else, and focus on all these different varieties and types, and so I really just started focusing on the IPA. I love drinking them, and I think I have a pretty good grasp on what a great IPA should taste like. And really, people think it's so simple. They say, oh, IPAs, everybody makes those. Well, you know what?
Just throw a bunch of hops in there.
Just throw a bunch of hops in there. It's bitter. Honestly, I think it's one of the more complex styles in the beer world. There's a ton of different ingredients that you can use. And so, yeah, it was more of a challenge. When it comes to disc golf or any athletic sport for that matter, we as players, as fans, as the media, you want to give everybody this, he's the best player in the world, or he's the number 2 ranked player in the world. And, there's a little bit of that in craft beer, but honestly, it's a great community of people, of brewers, of super talented people, and we want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of the people that are really pushing the envelope, keeping beers local, keeping them fresh, and supporting, the local community.
Well, and one thing I was just going to ask is, now Bend is just that. They're very supportive, and it's a craft brewing area. I picked that up when I was out there for your wedding, is that is a place to be. Could you name, 3 or 4 hotbeds throughout the country? Bend comes to mind, whether it's Wisconsin or beyond. Can you name any other hotbeds that you find a similar atmosphere or community in, or that you know of?
Oh yeah.
Well, just 3 hours away, Portland.
Okay, yep.
Oregon's just a huge beer state because Bend and Portland. We in Bend always compare ourselves and wonder what's going on in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
They're our rival when it comes to breweries per capita. Denver, of course.
Yeah, you got Denver, you got Burlington, Vermont, even Charlotte, North Carolina. I know you guys were, just talking with Austin there. I mean, Charlotte's becoming a great hotbed for craft beer, and to be honest with you, this is something that is so exciting to us as people who want to get into the business. I mean, it seems like every city is now getting this little craft scene. goes along right with the craft food industry. A lot of small restaurants, fresh ingredients, those types of things. So,
And disc golf.
and honestly, really, disc golf is right there along with those two things. And you come into these different towns, these different hotbeds. Generally, where disc golf is exploding, craft beer is exploding just the same. I don't know what that means, but it's certainly exciting for us.
There's a great Venn diagram there, I believe, and it's working in your favor.
It's intersecting.
Yes.
Would you say they're hotbeds or hop beds?
No. No.
Oh, I like it.
I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. So what I will say though is, you guys have entered your beverages in some contests, and you've fared pretty well at those, haven't you, in the past?
Where's my trophy?
Yeah.
Well, which one? Oh, let me move these World Championship trophies. Oh, here's the beer trophy.
Yeah. These trophies aren't quite as impressive, but
This is the first contest we ever entered our beer in, and this is our trophy.
Ah, booyah.
Wow. That's nicer than
Was
some
that-
disc golf trophies
Was
I've
that
seen.
like a C tier or?
this was a contest up in Seattle, Washington, and we actually,
Regional.
even though we want to brew IPAs, we won the first place prize for a pumpkin ale that we did right near the fall season. Pumpkin ales are pretty popular, and we based it off of one that we love from New York called Pumpkin, and made a few tweaks, and I think we just really presented a pretty good beer. It's interesting, the competition of beer. It really is. There's craft homebrew competitions. There's also commercial craft homebrew competitions, and it's very competitive out there. I think that's where we're kind of seeing the media, even in the beverage world, really talk about the number one beer in the nation or in the world. Beers like Heady Topper or other beers like that are rated number one, or a place like Hill Farmstead out in Vermont, which is rated the number one brewery, or was at one point. So, yeah, there's still a competitive side to it.
I don't see the chat, but I'm sure there's a lot of beer chat going on.
There is. There's
they have the best beer.
A lot of people are claiming their city is a hop bed.
Right.
Oh, I can't believe I did it.
Yeah.
But, and there's a lot of people saying what they do and don't like, and people are coming up with different acronyms for IPA. I putt approach. Mine was I'm putting again. So,
So would it be fair to say that if we went and started covering brewery competitions, we could be then just Smashed Box?
Yes, we could.
That's what we'd have to be instead.
Yes.
But that seems like that'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun to go cover some of those.
That would be fun.
We've had friends reach out to us and talk about. We've got a friend that does grilling and cookouts and whatnot and barbecuing. You see some of those shows. I mean, Smashbox could really, we might be opening a whole new can of beer here. I mean, there's a lot of different ways we could go with this.
Absolutely.
So if people,
let's get into supporting you,
Yes.
everybody. First and foremost, people are asking Nate's shirt. Where can they get Nate's shirt? That particular one.
yes, the one right off your
The
back.
one right off your
Oh,
back.
here.
No! We're a family show.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah, we are.
Wrong host for that. No. I'm glad you guys brought that up. We announced Bevel Craft Brewing along with a GoFundMe campaign, which we'll be running this GoFundMe campaign all the way through the fall of this year. It's basically going to run the length of our disc golfing season, and then after that, as I said before, after that's over, we'll kind of see where we're at. But I first got to say that the support that we've seen in a week, I think it's been a week since we announced, has been awesome. We've had 41.
Like 4 days.
Yeah, yeah.
We're getting on that.
We've had 41 people donate to us, and just over $3,000. And honestly, that means the world to us. We've dedicated our lives to disc golf, and we everybody that plays disc golf, we really consider ourselves a family, and it really just means the world to us that people are willing to, for basically nothing, just willing to hand you $20 or $50 or $100. And so we're really fortunate to have the community of disc golfers. But
Yeah, but they are getting something.
They are. So
yeah.
we all know golfers. They're very giving, and they like to receive.
Exactly. So we have a lot of different incentive levels. When you do something like crowdfunding, it's good to give away things at certain levels. And really for $25 you get a sticker that has this logo on it. And if you go to the $50 level, you'll get that sticker plus this shirt. So if anybody's looking to get one of these shirts, the slogan that we used for our GoFundMe campaign is "I helped Bevel Craft Brewing take flight." And these will be one-of-a-kind T-shirts. These will only ever be given to people that do support us through the GoFundMe campaign. And it's a way to say loud and proud that I helped Nate and Val.
Well, and that logo, it looks like it fit really nice on a disc.
Exactly.
It does.
So bump it up, and then for the $100 level, you'll get a Discraft Challenger with this logo.
This shirt,
and a sticker. So every level you go up, you'll get everything that was underneath that.
Awesome.
Then I think the next level is $250, where you'll get 2 pint glasses
with this logo,
Challenger, shirt, sticker. Then you'll go up to get a growler at the $500 level. So something you'll eventually hold our beer in. And then the next level after that is $750, which includes a sweet soft shell jacket with. It's got a logo on the back.
It's got the logo on the back.
Whoa, logo on the back.
Another logo. I like it.
And the final level that we have on crowdfunding, I mean, we're trying to reach out to a broad amount of people, and we hope that anybody can give just a little bit. But our highest amount on GoFundMe is $1,000, and that will get them a plaque in our brewery. We don't know what it's exactly going to look like, but I envision something that creates a hop in the hop leaves.
Oh, sure.
But your name or your logo or whatever your nickname is going to be on that, and it's going to be with us at the brewery for as long as it lives.
It'll be permanent with us as long as the brewery exists. So, we haven't gotten any $1,000 donations yet, but you know what? Honestly, that's okay for us. I mean, if somebody were to, there's just no words that we could really say to thank them enough. I mean, it's been a phenomenal week so far. A lot of hard work, a lot of people that we've had conversations with, and even other people that have been interested in investing even in us beyond all that. So there's the page right there. Go check it out.
Yeah, you can go to that for our audio listeners, www.gofundme.com/Bevel, Bevel. And there you'll find the GoFundMe with Val and Nate Doss's Craft Brewery, currently at 3110.
And I believe you don't have it listed, but I would think for the $1,500 level, they get to come hang out with you guys and live at your house for a week, too.
Yeah,
with a logo on it.
With a
logo.
With a logo.
Fantasy Brewing Camp. Come in the winter. We'll brew some beers together.
There you go.
Do some podcasts out of there. We'll make it.
Exactly.
We'll get things going.
Yeah, like be on the show. Like you could be here.
That's right.
Yeah, but all the information. So if you didn't get the GoFundMe website, our website for Bevel Craft Brewing is bevelbeer.com.
Yep.
And then that goes along with all the social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, trying to post fun pictures and continue to get the word out.
Definitely.
And get things out there. So now this is going to tie right into your junior grant program. Let's talk. No, I'm just kidding. No, but on a serious note, if somebody wanted to go out and get discs or something like that, you guys are right now, those are exclusive with that stamp that you're saying. Is there a way that they can get on board with just getting some merch or apparel, or is that just exclusively through the GoFundMe action? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for now, the only merchandise that we're creating, and by the way, the T-shirts, the jacket, those are actually made right here in our house. We have in this room. We actually have a little screen printing setup that Val put together, and so these are all made by the Dosses and Bevel Craft Brewing. So that's kind of cool.
So maybe if somebody maybe put a note in on their GoFundMe, or maybe for an extra couple bucks, you could sign one that you send out.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
All
no
right.
question about it. I mean, I think really, if you did do the $100 level and you got the Challenger, we would sign it. I mean, we would sign anything, for that matter. You know, never said no before. I'm not going to say no.
So is
right.
there a difference on a sober signature versus a not sober signature?
I don't know, but if you do get a shirt signed, you
I
don't.
think Val says Doss on her last name.
Oh, that could be a collector in itself.
That's right.
Wow, very nice.
But you know, as far as merchandise is concerned, I mean, for now, we would really ask people, ask that people, do it through the GoFundMe campaign. But as I said, once the campaign ends, which will be in the fall of this year, we're going to really spend the off season, trying to really get this company off the ground. And we never know what's in our future, but that's certainly a possibility for merchandise coming out.
I forgot to mention these shirts are cool. The front's cool too, but this little hop's on the back.
Yeah.
Nate, you don't have to. Yeah, it's right there. So double screen printed.
Wow. Yeah, we're good friends with Miles. We know what kind of work that is. He
Oh,
always
yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the logo. So we wanted to name it after disc golf, but not necessarily like you said,
Sure.
Ace, Heiser, disc golf brewing.
chains.
So we have these subtle touches to show that it is disc golf. So nobody would, outside of the sport, would necessarily know. But we have a mid-range that Bend, Oregon's written in. If you look at the hop logo, it's a hop with a disc flying through it. Underneath are the Sisters Mountains here in Bend, so it's got a little tribute to that. But yeah, we wanted to add these little touches to make it disc golf, but not overwhelm people that necessarily don't know the sport. So involving everybody here.
That makes perfect sense. Now, Nate, I used to do a bunch of IT. Okay, not IT. We got some internet stuff. I own TakeFlightToday.com. So if you need that web domain, we could talk.
Oh, nice.
I'm just saying. Anyway, but so the plan is to buckle down more come fall. GoFundMe versus Kickstarter versus any other method. What was kind of your logic in choosing one option versus another, and what do you see? Let's just fast forward to November 1st. What do you guys see as kind of the plan right there? You know what I mean? Like, what's the next major course of action? Maybe that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the decision between Kickstarter or GoFundMe or there's numerous other sites out there. Really, it just comes down to a few things. Kickstarter is really for artists. It's for people who are making movies or trying to fund their painting careers or whatever it is.
Or different products. I think you might actually have to have a prototype or a product to get on Kickstarter. Something like that.
There's a lot of things out there. GoFundMe is a pretty broad page. It's actually really for people who, let's say get injured and they need some help with a surgery, pay off a surgery, or, something catastrophic happens in somebody's life. But the one nice thing about GoFundMe is that all of the donations that we receive are funded immediately. So even if we don't reach our goal of $100,000, which, may or may not happen, you never know. But that's why we made that decision. So, really, if somebody gives $10, $20, that money comes through to us. And so, GoFundMe has been great. It really has been. It's been a really nice experience. I would suggest it to anybody, I think.
But at the same time, with any Kickstarter, you have to reach that goal for anybody to receive their incentives as well. So there's been a lot of things that I've donated money to in Kickstarter, and I'm like, where did that Frisbee ever go? They never reached that goal, so you never got anything. So, it was that give and take. And raising this money, we have a goal set on there, but like Nate said, the money can still come to us. So by the end of fall, however much that accumulates to, or wherever we are with developing investors, that's where we'll be. So yeah, that money will be put to great use. We might have to develop a new plan, but we're going to keep on the same path and keep trying to open our own brewery.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing would be is finding a location. That's really kind of the next big step, and really getting in and trying to understand the business, real estate market and understanding how to make a long-term lease and finding the proper place and the construction. And, there's so many things to really learn within the beer or within just the business world.
Yeah.
I tell people I've been running a business for 10 years, but that business was just me.
Yeah.
And all I is going in the backyard putting a little bit. Now it's registering with the state of Oregon. It's having a federal, tax ID number. There's
getting an LCC.
Yeah, getting LLC. Becoming a certified brewery to the federal government, to the local government in Oregon. So, there's just hundreds of things to do, and we'll use our downtime during the season to maybe get some of that stuff checked off the list. But the way we are as people, and I think I can speak for Val here. When we're out playing disc golf, that is our main 100% focus. We really love playing. This has nothing to do with that, but when we're out on the tour, we're going to be focused on trying to win those tournaments, and just as much as ever. So it's going to be a fun year with a lot of things going on. This year's already been so crazy with the Junior Grant program, the Women's Global event. In 9 days, we run a charity event here in Central Oregon for St. Jude, and so it's been an awesome year already, and I can't wait for what is to come.
Yeah,
sure.
Throw business in there. Too.
Yeah, trust me, with all those business things that you're gonna have to do, brewing the beer is gonna be the most fun part. The rest of it,
absolutely. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Well, and you may
tasting's probably the best.
Yeah, okay.
And you may have just created your own biggest distraction for the year, because now you're going to get inundated with so many people. Like, even our board continues to blow up asking about how they can get some and when the first one's going to be out and all that other stuff. So you're gonna be answering plenty of those questions. So can I be that guy? Can I be the first guy to ask, yo, man, like, how do I get sponsored by Bevel Brewing? Like, you guys want to, like, sponsor my tournament?
Nice.
So
Yes.
if you want to just, like, send me, like, 30 cases, like, we'll call it cool for sponsorship. So
Go to bevelbeer.com/sponsorship.
That doesn't exist.
yeah,
Nate's gonna put up a custom 404 page, so don't worry.
Yeah, gotcha,
Sorry,
suckers.
No, just to bring up to your point about people trying to get it around the country, I would urge anybody that is out there to go to their local government, go to their local congressman, whoever it might be, and it's difficult to ship beer from a brewery to the door of somebody's house. It's just going through the legal system. About 15 years ago, there was a legal proceeding that allowed wine clubs to actually ship beer from a winery to the door, of a customer. And not all the states have gotten on board with craft beer. It would give me no more pleasure than to be able to ship every single disc golfer that wanted to try our beer or wanted to become a regular customer of that beer on a weekly or monthly basis. But it's just not possible. One thing that we do want to do is do collaboration brews with different breweries around the country. That way we can get our beer or beers that we help produce into the hands of disc golfers nationwide. And so that's something that people should definitely look out for as well.
Or you just work with an underground shipper like
Yeah,
myself
right.
that kind of gets them.
No.
No, I didn't say that out loud.
Not doing that.
I shipped none of your understable beer all across the country to lots of golfers. I did none of the such.
Good.
So, or the sorts. Nothing.
But like Nate's saying, doing these collaboration beers, it's incredible how many disc golfers that we meet that are brewers, or brewers that we meet that are disc golfers. I mean, the culture's just, they're one and the same, it seems like. So that's been a great opportunity for us, because it's opened the doors to get these backstage passes, to go see the brewery and have the brewer, show us around and give us tips, and really open the door for us. And so it's been incredible to be our homebrew selves, and then meet somebody that's, maybe an AM disc golfer, and we're sharing, we're cross-sharing our passions between each other. But I don't think it's been officially announced.
But it can be now here on Smashbox.
But yeah, later in year in September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the finals of the Pro Tour up at the Green Mountain Championships.
Similar to last year.
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and do another collaboration beer. So Val, myself, Fiddlehead, the whole crew up there in Vermont is going to do another collaboration beer. So if you can get yourself to Vermont in September, I think you're going to be real happy for sure. For more than just the beer, but it won't be too bad to have that beer.
The tournament filled up within 24 hours, so can't get into the tournament.
You're a spectator now.
Yeah. Now you just got to come out and spectate hard, real hard.
Real hard.
Again. Yes. I saw that. I think that was one of the announcements made today, talking a little bit about how quickly it sold out and what the process is for the waiting list and the whole Pro Tour and all that stuff. So that speaks volumes about the event, the atmosphere, and everything that's going to be going on, and obviously we're glad to be part of that as well. On the media side of things, it's going to be an awesome experience. So, definitely. All right, guys. Anything else you need to share with us? I know we're going to have plenty of check-ins, whether it's Women's Global or the the grant program. But any other parting shots here on the beer side of things?
You want go ahead. You gonna say something?
I got some.
All right, go. You say something.
Wow.
No, I was just going to tell everybody, go to bevelbeer.com. We have a little bit of our background story on there, a little bit about what we plan to do with opening the brewery, and you'll find the GoFundMe. You'll find everything you need on there. And then, just give us a follow on Facebook. And we appreciate everybody's support. This has been, a crazy journey that we've been on, and it's really exciting to finally announce what we've been working on for the last couple of years and dialing it in. And so it's incredible to see the support from the disc golf community that we supporting us again. It's an amazing family, and we're happy to have everybody on board with us as we move on.
And
this next journey.
We know a lot of the top pros listen to this podcast. So if you other guys want to just kind of maybe throw an extra stroke in here or there to help these guys out, the more money they make on tour, the faster they can get to their goal.
Anything helps.
We'll consider that a donation. They'll get a t-shirt.
Hey, Macbeth, could you just go out of bounds a couple times this round?
I got a t-shirt.
Macbeth could fund the whole thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, he could. That's true. We'll reach out to him.
Seriously, I really want to reiterate what Val said. Thank you to everybody. Really, we got into this because we want to stay in disc golf for the rest of our lives. And we want Bevel Craft Brewing to be the official beer of disc golf. And we eventually want you to be able to have it at every tour stop for all the spectators. I mean, this is, we play a sport for a living. We want people to follow, enjoy themselves. It's entertainment. And I think by doing this, we hopefully can be a part of this sport for forever.
Awesome. Well, I think you guys are on the right track, and you've got the history, the longevity, and the support, and so many people out there. And I see nothing but good things moving on from here. So we wish you the best of luck. All right, guys, we're going to let you loose.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Boom! There it is.
All right, cut
him.
Cut him off. Cut him off.
They're done.
I can really say this time. Cut him off, please. All right, so Nate and Val, of course, with their new exciting adventure, they were gracious enough. I know when I saw the post at Throwdown the Mountain late last week, I was like, hey, you guys got to join us. I know you've been on the show a lot lately, but you got to join us and give everybody the inside scoop as to what's going on. So
it goes to show you what good people they've been the past 15 years is hopefully going to help pay off for them.
Correct.
In that, there's never been a time that you can't approach one of those two. They've always been professionals on and off the course. They've been just wonderful people in general. Mm-hmm. And I really hope that the disc golf community gets behind them and helps support them.
Yeah, it's great to see. One of my favorite parts about it is the seriousness, they're obviously taking the right
business
steps.
plan.
A business plan. I know that sometimes is tough to wrap
We
your
should
head
do
around.
that.
We're great just winging it. Look at last week's podcast, nailed it. But yeah, when they're doing, taking the right steps, jumping through all the hoops, and making sure they're as legitimate as possible. That I love to see as the entire sport and the people within it are taking those next steps. People have been calling for it. We could get to Yuli's picks right away if that makes sense. I know Yuli's been out there watching and
He's just bothering us
and just chiming in.
constantly.
He's like, I want on. But I think it makes sense for us to move over to Yuli and get him on, and then we've got a few other, I think, really important things to talk about yet, even after we talk to Yuli.
Sure. We'll wait until he gets online.
Okay.
And once he's online, at that point, then we'll dial him up. But until then, let's dive into a little bit of news.
All right. I'm going to lead this because I think this is clearly the hottest topic in disc golf right now. We've had all these tour talks and all this other stuff, but I would say the hottest topic in disc golf going around the internets is the concept of, or even the slightest potential or proposal of, the PDGA disallowing earbuds for people while they're playing. And I know there's been a lot of overreaction. There's been reaction and then a lot of overreaction. They're right now talking about at the competition committee level. So there's 6, 8, 10, 12 people on the competition committee that include world champions, and longtime players of the game and knowledgeable people. And the conversation is just being had right now. We saw Avery Jenkins make a post about it today. We've seen Murder Mike memes, which are a thing, Murder Mike memes.
Dude, once you've been Murder Mike memed, you've hit the big time.
Yeah, there are all sorts of things. So earbuds, headphones, whatever, I guess, sorry. Call it what you will.
Yeah.
But the idea of not allowing them during competition. So you, as a gentleman who wears them,
50-50.
from time to time.
Yeah, I'll 50-50. Depends on
I guess I just lay it up and say, state your case.
What?
Well, let's start with for or against, just generically stating.
4. I'm for
or against.
For wearing headphones.
Okay, and allowing them.
Allowing headphones. And here's what I say.
Okay.
What harm does it do? You can say it's a safety issue. You could
very much.
You could make that argument, but by wearing headphones, you are taking it in your own hands at that point.
What if it's not your hands to take into? What if there's things like insurance companies that are involved?
If it's an insurance issue, then the PDGA at that point needs to make that clear and state their case.
Okay.
If it's not a flat out insurance, if it's more of a, we'll say a rudeness factor or something like that, I'm sorry, I don't care at that point. Like if there's a legitimate financial reason for it, I completely get it. I mean, people wear headphones. Just here in Milwaukee, there was a location last year where two people at different times were wearing headphones and were actually hit by a train in Wauwatosa. And I think when you put on headphones, you are assuming risk because you are cutting off one of your senses to your outside surroundings. If I get hit with a disc, I'm sorry, that's on me. Like, don't be, as we say, don't be a dickbag. Mm-hmm. I tend to take out my earphones. I put my earphones in when I'm up on the tee box, and then I tend to pull one out so I can hear and listen to other people around me, so you don't have to repeat scores. People are complaining like, oh, I have to, what's Steve, your score, Steve, like that.
Which happens.
It's completely legitimate.
And almost every one of the guys that wearing earphones, you know what I'm talking about, earphones, earbuds, headphones, whatever.
We all get it.
Almost every person that, as soon as you say that's when, well, I'm not that guy. I don't do that. Everybody likes to then immediately get to, I'm always paying attention. I never miss anything.
We've all been guilty of it. I mean, I have. I've been like, oh yeah, that's right. I take out my headphones at some point.
Okay.
But I don't see a harm in it. As everyone says, oh, PDGA is bigger fish to fry. Yeah, kind of.
But what if it's a committee?
I don't like that argument. I'm just saying I don't like that argument because that's like saying that the PDG can only focus on one thing at a time. There's plenty of things that a bunch of little things I'm fine with. If it comes down to an insurance issue or something like that, fine. But I don't think that's the case. But But if for almost any other reason, no, just let players be players. Let them do their thing. We're not a sport that requires communication that much and things like that. Everyone gets into their own zone, their own way. State your case, Terry Miller.
Well, I know. Well, I can't say this is going to be unpopular because the quote unquote straw polls out there have proven that it's very, very controversial, and to me, it's not black and white. And I said to someone else today, I feel like it seems as if there's a very, very even divide. 33% say yes, I love them, keep them. 33% say no, get rid of them, we shouldn't have them. And I feel like the other 34% are like, meh, I don't care either way. Like, I feel it's very even.
It probably
amongst the options. I'd be a big fan of them disallowing them.
And I know because you've said this almost since day one. That
I've been on this platform for a while.
You have. Why? Why do you want them disallowed, so to speak?
I guess one of the major arguments for them is people talk about, as you just said, people get in their zone in their different ways. I think dealing with the elements of being out there and playing, I think that should have to be something that you have to deal with internally. That's one of my.
So no headphones. What about earplugs? Can I wear earplugs?
I would say no.
No? Can I pop my eardrums and be deaf?
Now you're going to go to the extreme.
I am.
And I'm deaf in one ear.
I know. I'm just saying. I mean, there are different levels. People get upset because, would you be in favor of saying no earplugs?
I would, because I think they'd create the same issue.
Of course they would. I mean,
that's the whole point of them. I think it would create the same issue. So that's one of the reasons. Another big one that I am totally on board with is, as you said, the safety and or insurance reasons to it.
I totally get that.
People, there was this recent person, I think it was in California. I'm paraphrasing what I remember from the article, but someone in California, they were yelling 444. Somebody was wearing earphones, got hit. That's fine. Everyone goes, oh, they got hit, no big deal. You know who's getting sued? The city's going to get sued.
Sure.
Whoever runs the parks department is going to get sued. The tournament director that put on a phenomenal event for every single person, the tournament director is going to get at least mentioned or listed in the lawsuit. Like, I look at it from that perspective, probably greater than any other angle.
Yeah.
I feel like if you are purposely... you're putting yourself at a disadvantage in terms of safety. And then there's the sheer annoyance factor. I shouldn't have to say to you 4 times, score. I shouldn't have to wave you down. If you're deaf, that's clearly a different situation.
I know.
However, I shouldn't have to wave you down, and I shouldn't have to baby or coddle you into figuring out what your score was for you to clearly call it out when you need to. And I know
agree.
So many people
you
say,
know what? And
I keep one earbud in and one out.
It's a pretty simple. I think that's a pretty simple resolution. If you have to do that, that's a courtesy violation.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if it comes to that, you know who we should ask? Somebody who's on tour a lot and might have a pretty good input on this.
He might not.
Let's bring in
none other than
we got a little intro for you. You got your own intro now.
Damn, your own intro. Thanks to Rick.
Yeah, thanks to Rick for the intro.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels special.
You know who doesn't have an intro yet?
I've made it.
Zoe
doesn't. You do?
You've now jumped leapfrogged Zoe on this. So we need to get Rick on something for Zoe. But what are your real quick? What are your thoughts on headphones? Yay or nay?
Headphones. I don't really care as long as you're not messing with the pace of play. I think is a big issue. The biggest issue for me is pace of play. I don't want to be asking, like you were saying, hey, what's your score, and him being sitting there and not having, any response because his headphones are in.
Sure.
But I don't really see a problem with it.
Okay.
Because normally people with headphones aren't at our level. They know what's going on. They know, like Barry Schultz wears headphones. He's the only one that I could really think of. And I've never really had a problem with it.
I think
Johnny McRae, Patrick Brown, two other guys that do frequently.
Right, and Gibson has been known to wear headphones before, and I've never had a problem with him. So,
well, not for that. No, it's a great topic, and there's a lot of different angles. Like we said, I think, and I was talking to somebody from the committee. They talked about safety being one, and like we said, insurance may or may not become an issue with that. Player courtesy, we're talking about that. Player advantage, somebody who, are you able to check out? Are you able to go zone out? And should you be able to do that, quote unquote, artificially?
I don't care.
I think that's one. I mean, I know, so we'll skip over that. We talked about player advantage. And then one of the other things we didn't really discuss yet, out of all the points, public image. And that's where a lot of people, and there's some chatter on the board, some people are saying that too, you go out to this professional disc golf tournament, you show up to a national tour, you got these guys, as they're saying, in collared shirts and dress nice, and Yuli, you're always one of the best dressed. I know that's the award you're going for, so you're always looking good, but then you have these headphones, and some people just look at it and think it looks odd. It looks unprofessional.
As technology gets better and the headphones get smaller and wireless and Bluetooth, where they're just these little earbuds, almost like hearing aids, I don't see that being a problem in the long run. That's an issue that'll solve itself just in the next 5 years, I think, as far as image goes. I just think that if the PDGA can lay it out and say, hey, there's a financial reason, this is why we're going to ban them. Great.
Well, it's an easy way to take care of it. If it's bugging the group, if they're not doing what they're supposed to, we have rules in place that'll take care of it for themselves. Warn them, and then it won't happen again. And then if that doesn't work, stroke them.
Yep.
So, I mean, we already have rules in place to take care of something like this.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually a big problem that more people aren't getting warned. I've been playing with a few people lately that I've actually given out 2 warnings. I won't say who, but I think it should be done more and more.
Good. I agree with you. I think it should be too. I think we've kind of become a little lax in just kind of saying, players will take care of it. I think the players out there need to make sure to kind of harden up a little bit, just to let people know that we do need to regulate ourselves. So
and here's one argument where I don't agree with somebody that wants to get rid of them. They talk about it's a antisocial thing. I agree that I don't. If you're on everyone's on a disc golf course for a different reason, and if you want to be social or if you don't, that's your decision. That is not one of my arguments. I know a lot of people have that and say, well, it creates this antisocial. Your wife Kat has said it. She's there to play golf. She's not necessarily worried about other things that are going on or other relationships.
She wears headphones also.
Yeah, she's there. She's there to perform her professional, athletic role, which is to be a professional disc golfer. Right. And so conversations may not be of utmost concern. So I agree with that mentality. I don't have a problem, with you saying that's a reason for having them. Just overall, I'm not a fan.
But what's more important
is where Tear Bear sits on Yuli's picks. Yeah. Right? That's the most important? Jeez. Right? Yeah, it is. Let's talk about last week's picks.
Last week's picks. All right. As Terry's over here doing his
dancing
truffle shuffle. Jesus. Oh, it's truffle shuffle.
Actually, keep doing it.
No, I don't need any more gifts made of me, but I think I just gave them more than enough. Yeah, more than enough for them.
I think you did. Last week, we picked the St. Patty Classic.
Yep.
And scores went like this. Terry scored 7 points, leading the pack by picking Wysocki, followed up by Nico, and then Drew, who keeps letting us down, and Philo, who took third, but you picked him as 4th. So you only got 1 point. So you nailed Wysocki and Nico, and you were one off with Philo. Congratulations with 7 points.
Booyah.
Yuli, 6 points. Because you went with Wysocki and Nico. And then Drew, who failed us. And I have you as Philo, but I know that's wrong, actually. Because you did not pick Philo for your 4th pick.
Jeff Bennett.
You picked Jeff Bennett. You picked the Lawnmower Man. And I got 2 points. Because I went Nico and then Wysocki. So I got them both, but I got in the wrong spot. And the rules are rules.
Yeah.
And then I went Simon and Drew. So Drew, who every one of us picked, ended up, I think, taking 6th or something like that. So
Still a solid finish. I mean,
It's a great finish.
85
Yeah,
guys or
it's
something.
a great finish, just not good enough for us. So
Yeah. Not
Drew.
Not gonna make the next segment.
No,
Drew, sorry,
sorry, Drew, not making the next segment. So let's get into this week's picks. This week we're picking Tournament 54, I believe is the name of the event. And for everyone out there, if you'd like to go out and make your picks, you can go to smashbox.tv/picks and go out there and submit and play along with us.
Let me ask real quick, Yuli, this was your idea for this particular event. Any history, any knowledge? What do you know that we don't?
Oh yeah,
No,
he's going to share that with us.
To pick a bigger, smaller tournament somewhere else in the country to showcase some other players. I thought it would be a better idea than just picking the normal top pros every single weekend. And so hopefully, I don't know, maybe once a month we can kind of venture out of the box, out of the Smash box, and
there you go.
Yeah,
like that, buddy. Okay.
That was for you guys giving me my own intro.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you had any tie to the course or the TD or anything like that. You really just you want to go with something different on the other side. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of players signed up, and some players we do know.
Yep.
And so I just thought it was a good fit.
Okay, perfect. All right. Do you remember who you picked?
Oh, I was going to make Terry go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Terry goes first.
Yeah, he
Terry's
got the high
first.
point.
He goes first. He gets the most right most weeks. I've never. Oh yeah, 1 week. Yeah, but okay.
Please.
So this week, I went ahead and I picked. He's the highest rated by a substantial amount, but really I picked him because we have birthdays 363 days apart from each other. So I picked Steve Brinster. All right, and our PDGA numbers are like 100 off from one another. So I'll go with Steve Brinster.
You didn't even have to say his name. We all knew.
Yeah, your USDGC
already.
champion from 2014. So Steve Brinster. Second, I went with Jason Dorr. I watched Jason Dorr play.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched him play at the Green Mountain Championships. He's a solid player. I've seen him, on video a few other times. Nice guy. So I went with Jason Dorr. Third, Craig Cutler. Another super solid guy. He's always been really supportive of what I've been doing. Basically, if you're nice to me, you get a better chance to get picked. But no, Cutler's been really nice, and obviously he's the second highest rated player there, and he's a working man. He puts in full 40 hours doing like real white collar business banking type work, but he still carries a 1,005 rating to tournaments. So I'm impressed with that. And then I rounded out my fourth guy with Tyler Grady. So those are my picks. I've got, again, Brinster, Dorr, Cutler, and Grady.
Who's Grady? Do you know that?
I know Tyler from playing out at the Vibram, and I've seen him play well out there. He's nice to me on social media, so he got my pick. No, I see him. I've met him out at the Vibram. Another guy from out in that side of the country. And I know he's a solid player, so I'm comfortable with what I got.
All right,
Paul, your turn. You took second place in points. We'll give you the privilege of going second today.
Okay. In fourth place, I picked Andrew Tabazinski. He's a local player out there. I think he's from Connecticut. Just recently got picked up by Prodigy. So I think he's on the street team. So giving him a shot at this one. Don't let me down.
Or you're off the street team. You can make that call, right?
Out. No. In third place, I had a Frizzak. I think I had to pick at least one Frizzak from out there. So I picked Jeff Cahill.
Nice.
Jeff Cahill, he did not have a PDGA number, so I had to actually go research an old tournament that he played because he's not recent. Come on, Jeff, let's get that renewal membership going. In second place, I have Bobby Copperfate.
Okay.
And he's actually a very good player out there. He took down Macbeth at a big tournament, I think after Macbeth won Worlds a few years ago. I don't know. But he's a good player. I picked him. And then in first place, I had to go with Brinster. They're playing 3 rounds in one day. And so I feel like it's going to be really hard to take Brinster down in 3 rounds out there. So
Yeah,
those are my picks.
I agree with you. I agree with you so much. In fact, that first place, I took Mr. Brinster as well.
All right,
Wow.
so
That's-
Brinster's officially a wash on
Yeah,
this card
it's
for
gonna be
all
officially
of
a
us.
wash. Second place, I picked Bobby Calperthwaite. Third place, I went with Craig Cutler.
No, you went with.
No, I went with Craig Cutler for
Oh,
third
I don't
place.
believe you. Okay, no.
And
just kidding.
fourth place, I took Adam Goodman. And Adam, I know Adam's a local guy from Connecticut, so I think he's gonna perform well for me. And if not, he'll never be on Smashbox. So we
We
pull
got a
that
lot
kind
of
of
people gonna get kicked off.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna make this segment isn't about making friends, Paul.
No.
It's about picking winners.
Yeah.
We can't be winners here on this side of the studio. You can be, I guess, considering you did win this weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But we'll pick the winners.
So going into this weekend's tournament, did you have you picked to win the tournament you played in?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay, tell us about it. Not picking yourself, but the tournament.
I played in Boogie Bottoms Takeover in Cleveland, Alabama, formerly known as the Alabama Mountain Games, I think.
Okay.
And I think you guys might have heard of it with that name.
Okay. Yep.
So it's a big tournament. It's out on a beautiful piece of property. They have what do you call those places? Like a
Oasis.
big get together or whatever. People playing music.
Oh,
Come on,
festivals.
Festival. Yeah, they have a
Okay.
big festival out there.
Okay.
And disc golf tournament runs around the festival on the piece of property, 2 courses, and I won.
Okay. And how many did you win by?
I won by 2 shots
Okay. And
over Logan Bowers, and then I think third place was Ziggy Brackhoven from Michigan,
Beer Coven. Yep. Yep. Good old
and
Ziggy.
then fourth place was Dalla. Holla at you, Dalla.
Nice. Wow, kind of crazy. Do you know if Ziggy's on spring break or something, or if what he's doing on that side of the country? Because yeah, he's from.
A relative lives on the course, I think.
Oh,
Something.
okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about our picks. I have another question for you. I believe this weekend is Big D in the Desert, right? Or there's a big competition, big distance competition.
I don't know.
Do you think that the record's going to be broken this weekend? The distance record.
It's a good question. I've been out there. I was out there, I think, the last time that they had Big D in the Desert. So I have a little information about it. I've seen it. Seen Simon and Wiggins throw pretty far.
Mhm.
I don't think it'll be broke.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it'll be broke this time.
Yeah, I know Simon posted that he's going to be out there throwing, and so I'll be
It all depends, to be honest with you, with the weather.
sure.
Last time we were out there, the last day we had some pretty good winds, but it all depends on the winds. Like if there's like a crazy day of wind, then yes, it'll probably be broke. Yeah, it's kind of like a hit and miss and like a lucky thing, I feel like.
Okay.
And excuse my lack of knowledge here. I'm looking for some more information about it. Does anybody know more about what's going on? The only thing that I came up with was last year. There's talk of people like Alex Geisinger, that he clearly has his heart set on something. He's one of, he's certainly one of the challengers out there that I feel like could possibly break it. I mean, when I think of maybe I'll ask it this way rather than me spewing them out. When you think of the 5 furthest throwers in the game that could possibly get the record, who would those 5 people be for you, Paul?
It would obviously be Simon.
Yep.
Current record holder. And then followed by David Wiggins, who he dethroned.
Mm-hmm.
Third place, in my opinion, would have to be like Garrett Gurthey.
Yep.
Still, even though I don't think he's been big into distance competitions lately. Christian Sandstrom. I don't know if he's out there, but that's a distance thrower that comes to mind. Robbie Bratton.
Okay. Yep.
And I do know he's going out there. Crush close.
Okay.
Holla. So those are the
Okay.
5 people that come to mind, and obviously Alex Geisinger too. He's
Yeah.
out there for the first time, so I don't know how well he'll do being his first time, but I mean he throws a mile. So
Okay. Yeah, you named 4 out of the 5 that I was thinking as well, as anyone that could do it. Alex certainly is maybe the most hungry for it. So we'll be interested to see once we can get some results. When I was on,
it's actually crazy that I don't see more posts or more people saying, "Hey, I'm training for this."
Yeah.
It's a huge thing for disc golf, and the benefits are well higher than
most tournaments.
any tournament.
Yeah, 'cause-
you break the record, and I think the companies are guaranteeing $10,000-$20,000 or something.
on top of probably getting a disc with your name on
Yeah.
it, and then maybe some residuals that way. You're right. There's
And I just feel like one throw, one weekend, like take a month, guys. Go out there, Simon, take a month, go train.
sure.
I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't see Alex out there training, posting on Instagram, "Hey, I'm out here learning a new 360. I'm hungry for this title," and blah 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 blah. I think
Sure.
as soon as a kid who throws far decides to do that, I think it'll be broke.
Yeah, and as you said, I know we were just briefly on the Innova page. I know they say if the record is broke or set with an Innova disc, Innova guarantees $10,000. And then I know most of the companies, albeit or Prodigy, Discraft, whomever, I think they all have bonuses. Hefty bonuses in that neighborhood, sitting on the furthest disc ever thrown, and
Sure.
getting your name stamped on a disc and getting residual, from that. Yeah, you're right. You could go out and make more money in 1 week than some of our touring players do in 6 months.
And I do remember when Wiggins broke the record that he was posting vids of working out,
Yeah.
in the field all the time, and obviously when Simon broke it, he was very hungry for it too. So.
Yeah.
Little work goes a long ways, I guess.
Well, I'll be interested to see if we can get more details. You didn't find anything
No.
that I couldn't find on the
No, I just
on
saw
the internets?
Nope. There's not a lot of talk about it. I just saw that Simon had posted yesterday about going to the he just called it the Big Distance contest next weekend in Prim, Nevada, Nevada.
I don't think it helps that it's in Vegas too.
Well, yeah, because I think as we've learned from tournaments, and I know from being there last November, sometimes the disc golf in the tournament scene can take a back seat to being in Vegas for a few days,
Right.
and it's easy to get caught up in other activities when you're.
No, but good luck to all of them out there, and I do hope to see a new world record. That'd be awesome and good for the sport, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy to see, and I think that 900-foot barrier is what everyone's looking at next. I mean, we've been creeping, incrementally in the 800s now to see something get past that 900 mark.
That'd be amazing.
So,
And the thing is, anybody out there can really do it. It just takes that that nice wind gust and the lift, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's everybody that's going there is capable. So
yeah.
I wish we had the list to see who was actually.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was just saying. Is I
Yeah,
can't
same
find
here.
really anything, unfortunately. And maybe you can attest to this a little bit. I've just heard the stories. They can only allow so many people on the property. Only so many people can register because of some of the we'll say course or the property restrictions.
Okay.
So that's why it's maybe not quite the spectacle that one would think it would be. Isn't some of that property used for like closed course commercials when people go out and do car commercials and things like that.
Yeah.
So
There's always like fast cars out there, or I don't know.
Yeah, other things going on. Exactly. So that's why.
Phil Arthur, I think, is going out there.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. We saw you chiming in on the boards. Did you miss anything earlier tonight that or you need to comment on, whether it was Austin's performance? We saw you post on his Facebook page shortly after he had won that night, but Austin or anything with Nate and Val that you saw?
Oh no, I mean, congrats to Austin. That's awesome. It's awesome to see the battle between him, AB, and Isaac. That's the future of our sport, and we know they're going to be battling for a lot of years, and I'm excited to see what other young kids are coming up. Justin, I saw on your
Justin Lammers.
Looks like he's pretty good.
Yes.
I watched during my workout tonight. I watched the back nine of the second round, I believe. So I got to see a little bit of him, and he looks like he's going to be coming hard also. Yeah, and good luck to Nate and Val with that's a Bevel
Yep.
Brewing Company. Yep.
Bevel Craft Brewing. Yep.
Obviously, good luck with everything that they're doing. And who else did you have on?
We talked to Mike Barnett briefly as well, one of the OG road warriors who's been out, hustling around the country.
The TD for Throw Down the Mountain.
And doing so many different
Oh,
things.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Sun King Discs, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Cool.
All right, pal. Well, we appreciate the picks. We appreciate everything you're doing. And where are you playing this weekend?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. Probably just a Saturday event with.
Yep, one day. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we wish you and Kat the best of luck. Do you know how many women playing down there? Do you know this weekend? None.
0.
Okay. Is Kat going to play? Is she going to take the weekend off or play open men?
I think she's going to play a local tournament in Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee. It's about an hour and a half away from where we're staying right now. So.
Okay. I'm going to say she wins. That's my pick. That's my women's pick of the week.
Yep.
So
I'm going to go with that pick, too.
Okay.
I think we're at a wash on that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well, I think she will.
Last week, I believe, did Holcomb win? No.
Nicole Bradley.
Yep.
Nicole Bradley
took
won.
her down
Took
by
it down by a single stroke.
So that would have been a crazy pick if one of us would have picked Nicole Bradley.
Yeah,
So
Holcomb's got the
congrats
edge
to
there.
her on her win also.
Very much so. So yeah, and a slight upset there, at least ratings wise. But as we all know, anything can happen. So it looked like a good battle, and she was edged out by a single stroke. So congrats to Nicole for the win.
Yep.
All right, pal. Well, have a good night. Have a great weekend, and we'll look forward to crushing your picks next week.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the new intro.
Yeah,
All
that's all.
right.
Thanks to our
Rick.
boy Rick. Yep.
Thanks,
All right.
Rick.
Have
Later.
a good night. Bye.
Later.
All right, so there you have it. Paul,
God, I hope his
Hugelberry
picks fail.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
the ones that don't match mine. I hope the ones that match mine do superbly.
so far,
And the other guys just take,
so good.
not quite as well as my guys.
Yeah. So what? I'm sorry. What did you say the total scores were? I genuinely forgot. I know I'm leading, but what were the
Seriously?
scores? I have 25.
You're at 25.
Uh-huh.
I'm at 18.
Okay.
And Yuli's at 17.
And what's a perfect week? 12?
Perfect week would be 12 that you hit week
All
1.
four players.
All 4 players in the right position.
I hit all 4 in the right position.
First week you
Holy
did.
cow.
Oh,
That's awesome.
without that, you'd be right with us.
Yeah, well, without...
And we're not, and I'm going to say this, we're not changing any of the style and how we pick, but it is, looking back, I might change some scoring style because you're right. Like, me picking the same 2 guys you did just in a separate order and getting 1/3 of the points.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Not necessarily the best move, but I'm not changing it. That's the point total that we went with, and we're going to stick with that throughout the year. So again, if you want to go participate with us, smashbox.tv/picks. And if you go to smashbox.tv/results, you can see all the results there and total points.
Wow.
So we're doing a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
All right. So
let's get back into a little bit more news. What else you got?
I'll wrap up this headphone conversation because I know it's going to rage on. Yep, it's going to rage on everywhere. Go out if you feel passionately about it. Talk to whether it's your state coordinator or reach out to the competition committee. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Go out to pdga.com. I don't know, maybe /contacts, and then there's probably a competition committee, or if you look at the various committees out on the PDGA page, you can find them and send them a note. Maybe you feel really passionately about one or another, for or against them, and submit it because that's what they're looking for. And that was part of the point of me bringing this up, was to keep the conversation rolling because they're looking for feedback. And I think one thing is they've been surprised how many people. I've even heard some people say, "Well, yeah, I wear them." But frankly, I'm surprised I can.
Yeah.
Some people have even said that. So
Sure, I get it.
It's all over the board, and we'll see.
And I just think
the other argument, real quick, the other argument I'm not a fan of is, well, they got bigger things to work. It's the competition. There are different committees that do different things.
That's exactly what I said.
That's one thing they're going to focus on because it's part of competition. Now, if it was the finance committee arguing about this, well, then clearly that would be silly, but they're not. It's the competition committee. So I'm in favor of that. And one thing they're working on is helping rewrite even the competition book right now, the competition rules that are out there. So that all factors in.
All right. One of the other big things that we saw on social media, thanks to Mr. Steve Dodge, who tends to put lots of things out on Tuesday mornings.
That's his official release date.
That's his official release date. It's called The Ocho, and more or less it's an article. It's actually a relatively short article. It's only 4 or 5 paragraphs that goes to say that disc golf is not ready to be on ESPN.
Okay.
And he got a lot of kickback from that. There was talks about what would make it ready. There were talks of how come it's not ready. There were talks of people want to keep disc golf down to keep it for themselves. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories. A lot of them are silly. Mm-hmm. But he basically goes on to say that we're still a grassroots organization and that it's not there. And I have commented off and on in different threads and saying it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. People say, oh, hey, we need bigger sponsors. Mm-hmm. And bigger sponsors saying, hey, you need more people. You need more money. And it just goes back and forth. And until something gets figured out, he's saying we're not ready for ESPN.
I think it's an interesting take, and being involved specifically in media of disc golf, and 25 in the sport, and the last 5 or 6 exclusively in media, or primarily in media, I don't entirely disagree. I guess it depends on what angle you take on it, who's presenting it, who's coming in. Clearly, we'll be the first to admit Smashbox should not be submitting a live video feed to ESPN's channels. There's no second guessing that. There's no feelings hurt when we say that.
Just like our camera guys, we'd say, like, if we were to seriously think about pushing something out to a professional broadcast station, we would need to hire probably 2 to 3 more cameramen. Minimum. I'm kind of thinking bare minimum here. They would have to be professional cameramen. We can't just use, and we love him, Gary to the O, because he's really not. He's not a professional guy. He's doing very well for us. He's getting a lot better. But if we were going to go that method, we would have to hire those guys. We would have to. I couldn't do it out of my basement. I couldn't do switching out of my basement. I would.
Yeah, there would be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. That would have to, increase in...
I think, honestly, hands down, we could get it done for $50,000 to $75,000.
Okay.
I think if you're talking bare minimum.
Sure.
Because there's talks, we're on some of the media threads that other people aren't necessarily privy to, but we have access to people like Terry Roddy and Joe Canale and things like that who tell us, Terry Roddy posted a picture on the thread of all these Sony cameras. I think there were Sony cameras lined up for one of the golf events. There was like 25 of them, and each one of those cameras is like $100,000.
Yeah.
And Joe Canale tells us how he's one of 60 editors at the PGA. We don't have that kind of stuff, so we're not. Smashbox isn't ready. If ESPN were ready, they would probably find someone else to do it, or someone would hopefully be able to step up. But there's just not there's not the interest, and there's not the sponsors in it yet.
No, and clearly
we hope to work there.
Well, and clearly, people like the guys over at the American Disc Golf Tour are going to take a step, or I should say a stab at it. Maybe is the right. They're going to take a stab or a step in that direction. And
they're going to do it better than anybody else. That's what they say.
Yeah, I've heard that. So we'll be interested to see how that pans out, because there are a lot of resources and a lot of ways that things that need to happen in order for anyone to be successful at it, and they're investing some very large dollars to like I said, take a stab at it. So
and we wish them nothing but the best.
Yeah.
We hope that the better they do, the better it will be for all of us.
And as people have said on the board, I think we're not ready because we've got all these disc golfers wearing headphones. So
that's clearly the problem.
That's one way to look at it. But so yes, that was out there. Interesting article. If there's one thing Steve Dodge is going to do every time he writes an article, he's going to make you think a little bit.
And cause a little stir.
And he does cause some stir. So that's out there. You can find that on discgolfprotour.com.
Yep.
And you can read the article for yourself. I think he's also put out there that there's a few more sponsors on the page. I saw a new release of a new sponsor out there, so he's continuing to work hard on that front as well. On discgolfprotour.com. So we're excited about it, and
Yep.
it's kind of funny to think that June. I think we go live in almost exactly 3 months for that event. So to think it's actually that far away yet, and
I know it feels
so
like
many exciting things going on. So we shall see.
All right, what's another one off your list? I saw you had.
I only had a couple
small
things.
list.
Oh, the other one is just that there was a ratings update, and again, Paul Macbeth.
Chipping away at 1060.
Yeah, at a 1060 mark, he in fact it went up to 1056. We've said it. It's only one ratings point, but I guess the part this could be Paul, this could be Ricky Wysocki sitting in the 1040s. Most disc golfers in their life will never ever shoot what would equate to a 1044 or a 1056 rated round. So when you put that in perspective as to a Macbeth or a Wysocki or a Nico in third or a Doss in fourth in the ratings, just knowing that their averages are where most people will never obtain. I mean, it's fair not to equate it to bowling, but lots of people will never bowl a 200 game and then think about the top professionals that have a 220 average.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy. And call it a fair comparison or not, you could argue all day. I'm just saying, like, yeah, plenty of people. You're never gonna bowl 200. No, you personally. No, you're not. You're not. I'm just gonna tell you now.
I could get lucky.
That's polite, but you're not.
Yeah. I bowled. I think my best game I think was like a 180, where and after show stuff. But I was asked to be brought in on as a spare for a team, and I told him, I said, I'm not good. Like
80 pins good.
Like 100 pins. Like usually 100 pins for me. I'm like, okay, any better than that. When I was bowling more frequently when I was younger, I'd usually about a bowl of 120, and it had been years since I bowled. And I came out, and I just, for whatever reason, got into a groove. I hit like 3 or 4 strikes in a row. I ended up racking up like 180, and they looked at me and they're like, "You told us you weren't like we have you down as your you're." And I said, "I don't know what happened."
Game of your
I
life.
literally bowled the game of my life, and I followed it up the next game with an 80.
Oh, so there you go.
And then that's when I said, "See, I'm not good." So, and that was the one streak of greatness I had. It wasn't that great.
One of the other things in the news, we saw that, and then we also saw. UC had put together, UC and the team, I should say, I don't know if it was UC specifically, but on Disc Golf World Tour, they kind of did a social media wrap-up summary, viewership summary, and I'll admit I didn't get a chance to read all of it. We saw that the quote that was pointed out to me specifically was really UC just referencing their experience in terms of the live feed.
Correct. UC said something along the lines of all the social media aspects and all the media aspects that they undertook, the live was the least payoff for them because they, for whatever they paid, they only had, I think, 4,200 max concurrent viewers or something along those lines. And then he went ahead and said that there won't be live at the next event. And I think some people mistook that as there won't be live for any more events.
Sure.
If you go back and read it, he never said that. He just said the next event there will be no live feed for. So, I'm curious to see how if he truly believes that this was the worst. We'll say the worst aspect for them as far as payoff and money and whatnot. I'll be curious to see how they approach it in the future, what they do, if they do try a full 18 holes to maybe say, okay, well, maybe this is better, or if they just flat out cut it down and say, let's just give them 5 good holes like we did at European Open and we'll make them spectacular. I'm really curious to see where it moves from here.
Well, I am as well, and a lot of people are trying to necessarily pit one crew against another, and I don't think that's fair. But we saw what they did. We saw that, we talked about it last week, some of their struggles, some of their triumphs, all those different things. Yeah. But just even the fact that UC himself, who is this visionary, and he is constantly pushing things forward, he's just come out and said, we don't think this is a good way to go. And even within the article, he stated, that he doesn't think... I'm going to find the exact phrasing because I don't want to misquote anything here as we're talking about it, but he was very pointed as to what he was discussing and whether he's referring to his own crew or whether he's referring to our crew.
That's one too many W's.
It's
It's the World Wide Web, not
and I also
not Wisconsin's World Wide Web, not 4Ws.
discgolfworldtour.com. So for those that want to read this is all on a Disc Golf
If you
World
go to
Tour.
Disc Golf World Tour, you can see the whole breakdown. It's called a look back on DGWT #1, the La Mirada event. They show you their Twitter reach, their social media reach,
their online videos, the spin,
stuff,
and all that other stuff. And so what I was reading was, I'll read through this quickly. As for the live broadcasts themselves, we firmly believe there's still a lot of room for improvement. This was only the first event of the tour, and now it's time to regroup and take a look at what can be done better in the future, keeping our goals in minds for coverage. We gladly want to hear your feedback. He had said all that. Earlier, just above that, he said, we believe this sport is ready for big audiences and sponsors, but promoting our main events with exhaustively long broadcast with shaky cameras showing frisbees thrown in the woods, topped off with a commentator panting to a microphone, is not the image big sponsors are looking for. This type of broadcast can also be very off-putting for non-disc golfers. We want to provide a well-thought-out product with lots of great footage and minimal amount of dead moments despite the challenges of broadcasting a live event. So that's all out there, as you said, and he breaks it all down. It's really interesting when he talks about the exposure, the on-site spectators, the social media aspects.
There's some really cool numbers and stats out there. So.
Yeah, so definitely go out there and read it. It was some interesting feedback, just because we are so deeply involved with the national tour, along with the pro tour. It's interesting to see that the World Tour, is kind of taking this look, this look back at it. So, yeah, we should certainly see that. So, discgolfworldtour.com, and they have it all of that stuff announced out there. So, and some people are talking about different things that you can find regarding the broadcast, and yeah, we won't even get into all that. We've talked plenty about, pros and cons and challenges because we've experienced them all.
Trust me.
We'll continue to experience them.
We're by no means perfect, and we won't be.
And we'd like to send a shout out to our pal Ian and the rest of the crew. It looked like they put a pretty exhaustive measure out there to put out their post-round recorded. So part of the contract that we experienced last year, and that is going to be relatively common, was that Central Coast, who was invited to be at the event to help cover it in terms of the World Tour, one of the stipulations or one of the contractual agreements there is for them that they weren't allowed to use any of the footage or to put anything out until 1 week after the event. And that's something they knew about going into it.
Yep.
Exact same measures were taken at USDGC last year. There may be similar measures to some degree on the Pro Tour, so that's not uncommon. However, they put out, I believe it must have been on Sunday, they put out their post-produced version, and it's phenomenal. They did a really good job with it.
The graphics were great.
When you have, I don't want to say just when you have the time, because even when I do have time, I don't put out a great video, but it was clear that week allowed them to get all these phenomenal graphics inserted and to have a really well-polished product. So that's out there. That's Central Coast. Certainly go out there and check it out.
Definitely check it out, because they have taken the post-produced round and elevated it to a really high level.
Yeah. So there's that's something you definitely should go check out. That's Central Coast, of course.
Yep.
Ian and the crew. I think they had said, whether it was him or someone else within the article or somewhere, they had mentioned that there was 6 people that ended up ultimately helping with that effort, which is awesome. I mean, it really shows through when you have multiple angles and you have some stylistic approaches and having a crew. And that's one thing that Central Coast, I think, has a huge advantage over even the Gomez Productions or myself or Smashbox. They have this network of people that work with, and it allows them to put out a better product because of that, having a larger network.
For sure.
So somebody was baffled by me. They said, some guy kind of badgered me a little on Saturday. He's like, "You don't look good. Did you even sleep last night?" I'm like, "Well, I filmed for 4 or 5 hours, and then I edited for 10 or 12. I went to bed at 5:30 in the morning and woke up at 8:30 or 9:30 a few hours later. And they just shook their head at me, and I was back out there filming the next day. That's what you got to do when you're.
That's what you were brought there for.
Exactly, and that's
and
what you got to do.
You know, getting into it. Yeah, Katrina. Blah.
I know it's a big it's a big word.
Yeah, Katrina. No, Katrina did some of the commentating on the videos too, and a lot of people liked what she did. So it's always good to be able to get a pro's perspective on their round, because I think it was the round that she played with Macbeth, and I think it's KJ. Was KJ on that card as well?
Naibo, yep.
So so very cool. Very cool. Good job to CCDG.
And I'll admit, I didn't even get a chance to watch it because I just got home.
I breezed through it.
But I just looked literally through a few minutes of it, and I saw the graphics coming up.
Yep, that's what I did too.
And I saw the great angles and the camera work, and as you said, it was definitely elevated, and something that's really nice. And I think that's a bigger question is people, some people very much prefer a shortened, wrap-up round coverage, whether live's available or not. They prefer the shortened rounds. The question is, can we get to a comfortable place where maybe it's not as instant, but the quality's a little better?
No.
And is that because we've already set this precedent?
Yes, I think the precedent has been set, and I won't say no that harsh, I guess.
That's fine. I don't care what you say.
If you have... Here's where we're going to run into problems. When you have multiple people at a single event putting out, everybody wants to race to be the first, because especially if you're covering the same hole, because everyone wants those same views, and you don't want to, even if you're not covering the same hole. If let's just say you're covering hole 1, CCDG is covering 2, Jomez is covering 3. If CCDG puts theirs out the next day, everybody then looks at the other two guys and say, well, how come yours isn't out?
Sure.
It becomes an arms race, as we've seen. So at that point, then people are going to watch the video and run through it. So, what's your perspective? Like, I really wanted to do all these really awesome graphics I have, but that's going to take me an extra day or two of putting this in, and then I'm going to get pushed back for day after day after day. Or do I just put out a really quick thing to keep up with the Joneses and work from there? Now, when you have CCDG at one event, Terry at another event, and Gomez at an event, totally different aspect. I think then you could take the time and say, oh no, I'm going to give this an extra 3 days, and I want to do some great graphics. I want to do some really cool inserts, maybe a commercial, maybe an interview, things like that. And people have to wait. They don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you're going to see it. When you run into places like Worlds where we're going to see multiple people, that's when, unfortunately, the events that we want the most quality on, we're probably going to get the least quality on.
Well, it's
quality as in like extras and bonuses, not necessarily the quality of the recording and things like that, because those are always pretty well top notch. It's the extras that you're not going to get.
Well, and I can speak to that in the sense of what I was doing this weekend. I was definitely concerned about turning these videos around as quickly as I possibly could. I wanted to get them up, and I wasn't racing anyone else. I was the only guy doing coverage, but I wanted to be able to get them up so that people can enjoy them. And yeah, there's always that trade-off. And I certainly, especially after the first day of doing post commentary, I thought, well, I could save like 2 to 4 hours by not doing commentary on the second day's worth of footage.
Okay.
And I just made the decision, no, I'm going to do commentary for all three rounds.
Okay.
But that certainly added hours upon hours of extra work, which I'm good with. But that was a decision that I was weighing the time.
You should just do the commentary before the round.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just cut in nice deuce and put that in there where you need to.
Just sound bites.
Good birdie. Unfortunate roll.
Good birdie. Yeah, I could do some of that. Oh no, because I kind of get sick of forecasting and always being right during Yuli's picks. So I got to keep my commentary up. And
please, let's move on. I'm done hearing about Yuli's picks.
Yeah, well, you guys invited me. I'm just saying.
I know we shouldn't have.
No, you shouldn't have.
We should have had a battle of the bottom feeders right now, because I'd be winning. Woo! All right, yeah. So that's kind of our. I know Stu had another. Some people call it a rant, but it was just Stu Mullenberg had a nice post out on Facebook. So go out and friend him if you can't see it. I don't know if it's public or not. He's one of our photographer,
yep,
our main photographers, about what it takes for him to put out all these photos and stuff. And then he had another one about whether or not disc golf is ready for live, and that was kind of a big.
Oh, I didn't even get a chance to read that one yet.
Yes, that's another. It's a really good one. It's not really a rant or anything. It's just like maybe disc golf isn't ready for live or for the full 18-hole coverage and things like that.
So is he ripping on us?
Not at all.
He better not be.
He's not. He knows better.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know. We like Stu. He helped us out quite a bit, last year with some stuff.
No, and he's a big Smashy and a huge supporter. So,
but.
And to answer the question out there, when is the final round from Throw Down the Mountain coming? It's right here on this computer in purely unedited form. So,
yeah.
I would honestly, I'd love to say the next 9. I would like to have up by tomorrow night. That's my goal. I'm going to be probably doing some serious editing tomorrow. So for those that didn't know, I actually we closed up the tournament. I helped do some payouts and other things with Mike Barnett. I closed up the tournament. Then I drove into Orlando on Sunday night, returned the car I was borrowing. Thank you, Mark. I returned the car, and then the next morning...
You didn't scratch it or anything?
No. It rode beautifully. Thank you so much, Mark. The next morning, I then hopped on a plane out of Orlando, got home to then take my 5-year-old daughter right to school.
Happy birthday to her.
And take her out for her birthday dinner that night. So that was all of my Monday. And today was getting ready and decompressing still. And I haven't even unpacked my suitcases. That shows you how behind I am. So we'll get that stuff out ASAP.
All right. I don't know of any other big news that's happened here for disc golf this week, so I think we've covered everything.
I've got something else minor for the after show, maybe.
Okay, after
we'll have
show.
a quick after show.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A quick pick. Daredevil season 2 came out on Netflix. I'm about a third of the way through it. So far, so good. Better not disappoint me. And there's a book out called Station Breaker. It's by a guy named Andrew Mayne. That's the author. It's a book about it's based a little bit in the future, like maybe 5 or 10 years. A guy goes up to a space station with another guy. He's waiting because this is a time when space flight is a lot cheaper. They're going up and down, whatever. He hears a gunshot on an international space station. His co-pilot comes running back and says, "Let's get out of here." And it's kind of a chase from there. It's a very sciencey type thing. It's my type of stuff. So if you're looking for it's like a $2.99 book too, I think, or $3.99. It's out on Amazon Kindle, called Station Breaker. It's quality read. So it's not too long. So just a good book. So if you're looking for a new book to read, go out, do that.
Well, I will make a pick, and although I can't speak to it directly yet, but I will be getting it probably in the next week. My boy, Gary Vaynerchuk, is working on a new book, or has a new book that's been released, I should say, and I'm going to go pick it up. I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan. In fact, I 100% credit my entire disc golf media career actually to him. So as silly as that may sound, I read a book about social media, and that's registered thediscgolfguy.com later that night. So Gary Vaynerchuk, he's got a new book. I'll go out and get it, and it talks about social media, business, all those types of things. So Gary Vaynerchuk, that would be my pick of the week. I could pick him every week.
You could.
He does weekly podcast. He does daily blogs and podcasts, and he's just amazing. He's got a lot of stuff going on. So, all right.
So like Terry stated at the top of the show, go out, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes,
subscribe to us or like us on Facebook.
If your particular podcasting app, if you're using a podcasting app, which you should be,
yep.
if you're watching this, remember you don't have to watch this on YouTube. You can download the audio. We have heard some people say that they watch this in the car, which isn't a good idea. Just get the audio. We don't need to be the cause of any accidents.
I cause plenty as it is.
Yeah, no doubt. Have you ever driven with this guy?
No, I mean in other ways.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Have you ever driven with him? I can't believe someone lent him his car. No, but go out and rate us on the different tunes, whether it's Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. And like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. So that would be nice.
That would be nice. So this has been Podcast 81, jam-packed with lots of stuff. We're glad we could be here tonight, and we're glad we could bring you all the information. Stay tuned. We're going to, of course, have an after show where we'll talk about some other wild and crazy things, some of the loose ends. So for all of our guests, we had Dynamite, we had Mike Barnett, we had Throw Down the Mountain champion Austin Turner, And we also had Nate and Val along with Paul Ulibarri for Yuli's picks. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Podcast 81's in the books. We'll catch you in the after show when you step inside the Smash Box.
We are back for the after show.
Welcome back, everyone. Podcast 81 after show. Terry Miller and Johnny V here. And, we can get on with a few more details, a few more things going on. My first, I'm going to start out the after show with this as well because it was late in the regular show. Again, Mike Barnett, thank you for the awesome weekend, and thank you, Mark. I believe it's DeJuro. I figured I'd screw it up if I pronounce your last name. But thank you, Mark, out of Orlando area, for lending me your car for the weekend. I've never driven a VW Jetta stick before.
Okay. Oh, was a stick on top of it?
Yeah, I've never driven stick before. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually
I neglected to tell him
I'm
that.
a pretty good, manual driver.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay away from saying stick shift driver. I'm a very good manual driver, but that car, he said it was, I don't know if he said 2012, 2013.
Smooth.
It was smooth, and I really enjoyed, that should have been my pick.
Yeah.
I'm officially hooked, and I'm so many years behind here, at least 15 or 20 probably.
If you tell me Waze, I'm going to punch you.
No, what is it?
Waze. It's like a Google Maps kind of
app. No. Oh, yeah. I am 100%, I'm too cheap to really say I'm hooked on it. Sirius Radio.
Oh.
It was awesome. He had like all these channels, and I didn't even flip through half, not even half. I didn't even flip through a couple pages because
we've gotten Sirius Radio in a lot of rental cars we've had before.
I've never used it to that extent. It was
because I remember sitting there going like, "There's an entire Pearl Jam station," and things like that. So
no, I just left it on either Comedy Greats or Comedy Central, and as weird as it sounds, and I'm a guy who pretty much spends every minute in a car on his phone, usually hands-free, but I get a lot of work done and catching up done on the phone in the car, and I hardly spoke on the phone once. I found myself just completely enthralled in listening to these comedy clips.
Oh, at the Comedy Station. Here's what I'll say about the satellite radio. Fortunately or unfortunately for them, I think that now with things like Pandora and things like that, it's not. I can't say it's a dying business because they're doing fine. But I can't count the number of people in the past month that have told me like, "Do you listen to the Comedy Station on Pandora?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I listen to podcasts almost exclusively, and then a little bit of music lately." But it's Sirius Radio. There's a lot of people in my office that actually have the little Sirius like or XM. I think they're the same thing now. XM Sirius. I believe they've merged. Like a little thing that they put right in their office, or they sign on through the internet and they can stream it through there with their account. So it's
I don't know. I was a big fan.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was because he had it on one station, which was great, and I was listening to music for a while, and actually I enjoyed whatever station it was. But then I was like, I'm going to click on this button, and it's got all sorts of options. And sure enough, that's when I found the comedy. It was a Comedy Central, and then I think it was like Comedy Greats, and those I flipped back and forth, keeping it on those two stations the entire time, and I loved it. But as you know, I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was just, and then I was playing a little game with myself in trying to guess the comedian because it always said who it was.
Oh, sure.
But I was always trying to see if I could guess the comedian, and it's funny, for as much as I enjoy stand-up comedy,
there's a lot of comedians.
There's just so many of them, and I don't, I couldn't guess all of them, but most of them. But it was awesome. Good. So there's my pick.
I'm glad.
When did I'm gonna Google this. Well, give me a guess when you think Sirius Radio came about.
I'm gonna go with 95.
I think I even spelled it right there. SiriusXM.com.
Yeah. Okay. So SiriusXM. Yeah, because I know they came out very similar to each other.
Start of. Sirius Radio. I'm gonna see if I can do some.
Dude,
there's a free trial.
It's always best if you just go to
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
I've never heard of
it. It was founded in 1998.
Oh, okay.
but that doesn't necessarily. It went defunct in
Well,
2011.
I was gonna say, I don't
which
think
is when 2011, I think, is when the two merged. So, but yeah, it looks like, yeah.
So ultimately started when?
1988 was when it was
All right, do
XM
an
satellite
extra-
radio was founded.
88. Do an extra click or two and find out what it would cost for me to have it in my car.
No.
No, you're like right there. You probably could be like one click away. I would be. I'm just too cheap.
No, I don't even know how to spell Sirius radio.
It's right there.
It's XM.
Oh.
This is XM satellite radio. It's different.
Oh.
Yeah. I just know that I thought XM was first, and eventually the two merged.
Oh. Either way, whatever.
Sure. So.
Whatever he had, I enjoyed it, and XM Sirius. How do I get it? Yes, maybe somebody's got a
I'm
code.
gonna guess. I'm gonna go on a wild guess and say $15 to $20 a month.
I would hope I would only entertain it at $9.99 a month or less, and I'm guessing that's not the case. But maybe there's got to be a smashy out there that could tell us, inform us. Ooh, $12.95 or $13.95 is what somebody says on the board.
Yeah.
Chris says wrong. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it says here Sirius satellite radio was founded in 1990. So.
Okay. I was gonna say, doesn't Howard Stern own one of those by now?
He
has like some $50 million contract, isn't that it?
Yeah, he's a very wealthy man because of it. He has his own station, which I think is just all.
Okay, so Chris, talk about good debates on the board. Chris says I have it for $19 a month. Nathan Yates says Terry, only $9.99. So, yeah, and then people say podcasts are free and better, and they are. And I've also gotten a little bit more serious about listening to podcasts actually myself. But I don't know. I found myself just enjoying listening to the various channels. 500 million is what. Okay, well, I guess I was only off by a zero or something like that.
So Select Sirius is as cheap as $10.99 for what's called the Mostly Music. Looks like you can add other sort of subscriptions as well.
And then
so I'm done talking about them.
They are.
Can we get our podcast on them?
I would think so. I was just gonna say they're gonna be sponsors of the show, or they'll pay us. Maybe they'll do that.
We always said I think we'd make good morning DJs.
Yep.
If if we weren't talking disc golf, if we just talked about other things in general. So
Chris says he's still paying for his ex-wife's.
Ouch.
Sorry, I'm not going to go there. Yeah. So what else do we have that's on the agenda? We got anything else? Oh, I do have another giveaway.
Oh yeah, we have three giveaways.
I called and said I suggested we had 3 giveaways. Yeah, I think I'll have to think of another good one.
I was gonna say we could do a giveaway on Facebook and not do one necessarily for the live viewers. I know all my live viewers are gonna lynch me now, but
I know. It was funny this last week. My smashy friend Mark, who lent me his car, he said last week he was one of the guys sticking it out as we were crashing and burning. He's like, I got down to. Like when it was down to, I think he said 23 or something like that. And then somebody else at the tournament was like, I was down to one of the 13.
And it's so strange because we've gone months and months and months without having hardly any issue. And then last week, suddenly, I'm fairly certain it was not a Time Warner. It was more of a Wi-Fi thing. Something was just killing the Wi-Fi signal. And I have a brand new Google an on-hub router, which is super strong, very well respected. It's a very expensive router. Thankfully, I didn't pay for it, but it's supposed to. I can literally get it out back by my garage. I'd say 150 feet away, but straight 30 feet that direction, I was having major issues. So, like I said, I just ran a big. I went to Home Depot and I bought a Cat 5 cable, 100-foot. And I ran it through my living room, through the kitchen, down the stairs, into the studio.
Like all professional podcasters do.
That's how it's got to be done.
It looks pretty good, for sure.
That's right.
Yes, Trevor, good call. That is a good reminder. If you've won in the last 30 days, you are ineligible, unless I make some other exception. The standing rule will be if you've won in the last 30 days, you're not eligible for the next one. We don't want the same one or two people continuously dominating our prize pools. We can applaud your efforts, but we don't want you dominating our prize pools. Jake was here when we were still all on Periscope, which I had done last week. Yeah, people are discussing your.
We're both wearing
kinda...
buttons up, little dressy shirt. This is what I wore to work today. I went right from work to pick up my daughter. Then we ran over to some friend's house for some really quick pizza. Then we walked over to the elementary school for a 4K through 5th grade, 6th or 5th grade concert. So, and a bunch of solos. And thankfully, right now our kids are young, so they're up earlier. So after our kids go, we usually sit around for about 10 more minutes, and then we go get our kids and leave halfway through the show. So right now, 1st grade. I was looking at this program, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, like when our kids in 5th grade is going to be like last, and I'm going to have to sit through this entire thing. And some of it's fun, and some of it's cute, but I'll say this. I have a real big pet peeve. So all these kids come up on stage. They open the curtain, and there's these kids on the risers. What do you think a third of these parents do?
Stand up and take pictures or hoot and holler.
Not even take pictures. I don't mind that. They get up and they start waving, trying to get their kids' attention.
Oh, yeah, because that's going to do a lot of good.
It's enough to probably get these kids organized and focused on singing the right lyrics and doing their little hand motions. But then you've got these parents that are like, hey, little Jimmy, hey, and screaming at them. Yeah. And all I want to do is go old school and cut off their hands. That's all I'm thinking. My wife looks at me when I told her this today, and she goes, you've got some problems. And I get so infuriated by it. It's a little pet peeve. After the song is done, get up, wave, cheer. I don't mind if they take pictures or whatever, or do filming. Wait till after the song is done. Wait till the curtains are starting to close, or the conductor is turned around and said, hey, whatever. Do that. But these damn parents bother me so much. I want to strangle them.
That sounds like a good call.
I think I may get put in jail at some point for this. If I'm ever not here on a Tuesday night, because concerts are almost always Tuesday nights, it's probably because I've been thrown in jail.
Okay. I'll run the show.
That's fine.
Trevor here has come in with a great question. He says, does every tournament have liability waivers? The main issue with the landowner of the private course I'm building, dozens of strangers walking around the property, and anything can happen. Trevor, whether it's you or a smaller entity, or you as a designer, or probably this landowner, you're going to have to just invest in an insurance policy. You're talking... I've heard all sorts of numbers throughout the years. Reach out to some other private course landowners that are, that you like or know or trust, or that they like you. So maybe they'll share some details. But I'm guessing anywhere between $500 and $5,000 is probably what a year-long policy is going to run. Again, every state's going to be a little different. I know landowners can get, you yourself and landowners can get umbrella policies for $1 or $2 million, and those are usually really inexpensive. But because there's going to be so many people coming through, and there's probably going to be some kind of official pay-to-play or business entity related to it, they're going to probably need a legitimate business insurance policy. So, yeah, you're just going to have to look into it in terms of that. So does every tournament, was your question, have liability waivers? And again, I know a lot of people throughout the years, some people, plenty of lawyers will tell you a liability waiver means nothing. It's not worth the paper it's signed or written on. Yeah. I know a lot of tournaments will have one. I mean, it's a start. I don't think you're doing any harm by having somebody sign a liability waiver if you're on private property, but I've also heard that they're useless. So, I clearly am no legal expert. I'd talk to an insurance agent. That's really where you need to start with it. The PDGA, in fact, if you're a PDGA sanctioned event, you are covered by the PDGA insurance policy. It's just a matter of, do you need to pay to have that policy in writing and prove it to someone or not? That's where you usually have to pay extra.
And can you have headphones?
No headphones, because it's going to be an insurance liability. And I'll say that's one of the strongest arguments for it is you came around on. Yeah. If the insurance companies see this as a liability, they may start kind of demanding it from that end. Insurance is
they'll either
invalid
charge more or they'll invalidate it somehow.
Yeah.
And as I stated, if the PDGA can come and say, "Oh, hey, here's why we're doing this," that's fine. I can't think, and granted, I haven't put that much thought into it, but I can't think of another reason why the PDGA would be or should be allowed to restrict them.
Well, I mean, PDGA is allowed to restrict
I know,
to some degree what you're wearing.
Correct. No, I agree with that. Like, they can do whatever they want, but a good, valid reason behind it. Saying,
well, that's the problem.
Like just saying,
yeah, but that's all totally subjective, because plenty of people hate the collared shirt rule at an A tier. Plenty of people hate the no smoking rule at a major.
I agree.
I mean, that's subjective to the PDGA, and I think, what the PDGA is.
And again, this all comes down to personal opinion. I think there are valid reasons for all of those. If the PDGA could show me another valid reason, I'd totally be down with that. I'd be like, okay, I get that.
Well,
awesome. Now, if the PDGA says, we've taken a poll and we don't necessarily think that it's a good idea. If it's a good look for our sport, I don't like that. I don't like that thought, because
you don't think collared shirts kind of follows that logic, though.
Yes, but I don't think headphones fall into that. I don't think headphones fall into that particular aspect. They're so small and almost unnoticeable. So, but that's, again, we already discussed a lot of that. So.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. I had a point, but I don't remember what it was. Do you pay the PDGA prior to attorney? When you sign up to sanction an event with the PDGA, you pay them a sanctioning fee, and as soon as you become sanctioned, then the event in itself is then covered. So
and then afterwards, you pay the PDGA fees and dues per player, based on whatever your sanctioning tier is.
Correct. Chris trying to poke us a little if a spectator is wearing headphones, hitting cows. So $50 if you need a copy of proof of insurance. The sanctioning agreement fee covers the premium for the insurance. That is correct.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes, exactly. So by default, you in fact are covered. But where the $50 comes in is some municipalities will say, yeah, that's great, you're sanctioned by the PDGA. That means nothing to us. We don't care. Show us a piece of paper that says you have insurance through this, sanctioning body, and then that's what you're actually paying the PDGA for, an additional $50, because then they have to go through the effort of going to the insurance company and getting that proof of insurance made out to that municipality and then faxed or mailed out or shipped over. So Dan says he's had his headphones in the whole time. What's going on?
Me too. I've had my headphones
on. Yeah, good. Let me check. So here's let's put a little bow on this one for now and say, so how should it be handled? Not your decision or your thought or input.
Headphones?
How should the decision as to allowing them or not, is it, dare I say, put to a vote? Like you vote on your state coordinators, whatever. What if we put it up to the general membership at this year's July, August, September voting procedures, like Hall of Fame people and all that other stuff? Should it be included in there as a vote? Is that the most...
Why not, and maybe this is too many layers, but why not put it out to a general populace vote of PDGA members and say, hey, is this something that we should address?
Well, I think they're addressing it right now.
I know, but again, should they be? Is there that big of a reason to?
The answer is yes, because clearly, look how worked up people are on both sides of it. They should address it.
Would people care if it wasn't brought up? If the PDGA said, "Hey, guess what? We're not looking at it." How many people would really care? How many people would be like, "No, I really think you need to look at this," as opposed to bringing it up and saying, "Hey, we're looking at this. What do you think?" I mean, there's a little difference there. So maybe bring it up to a vote and say, should the committee actually take a vote on this? Should the committee bring it up? And if so, how do you feel? Because if it's, as I said, if it comes down to an insurance thing, then there should be no vote. Then it should just be flat out decided. Like, we're sorry, this is going to hinder or cost us more money. This has to be implemented. There's almost no choice. There's no point in voting at that point. If it comes down to a preference, like, well, we think this, then I think you should bring it up with your general body, and then from there, maybe say, okay, the general body says this. let's take into these factors, and we're actually going to vote on it. We're going to say we're going to take them into account. We're going to take our own experiences into account, and then we will vote on that. That's my thought.
Okay, you're wrong. You can simplify that. Anyway, there's going to be a penalty. I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up here on the discussion board. Country Disc Golf said that there had been a healthy discussion on a club Facebook page about the OB rule change that was implemented earlier. Apparently, the attorney Yuli won. So there's controversy over his win. Maybe it's negated. I don't know.
Yeah. Take it off the books.
They had an island green hole, and then there was no OB penalty. So
it was like a bunker rule.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm coming into this conversation a little late as to the details or what they're talking about there. So I guess I can't speak to that any further. Do you guys have any other thing that is out there that needs addressing? Please.
Yeah, bring it up.
Go ahead and
almost no subjects untouchable.
Wow. Let me just say this for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Avery Jenkins made this post 11 hours ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
It currently has 407 comments.
Sure.
So that is, I haven't read one of them, but that is, obviously, it's continuing to blow up just in the fact that there's 407 comments.
For sure. Yeah, that's where I first saw it, actually, was Avery bringing that up.
Interesting. So, ratings did come out today. That's why we were talking about Paul McBeth and others. I believe we saw Paul McBeth with the #1 rating, and I'm not talking about rankings, just ratings. Paul McBeth, Ricky Wysocki. Third is Nico LaCastro, who hasn't had anything incredibly stellar here into the last few weeks. And then fourth was Nate Doss.
Yeah,
in terms of ratings.
I mean, both. You could say the same thing about Doss. Doss and Nico, they're not out there winning the big name events. Nico, at least, will pull in a couple smaller events. Nate, unfortunately for him, only plays the bigger events. So if he's not winning big events, he's probably not winning events. And they're putting up really good numbers. It's just that they're being eclipsed by Ricky and Paul. Those guys seem to be winning.
Somebody said that Tyler Durden says Alaska course had all 18 baskets stolen again. Again, I'm not great with my Alaska geography. I'll clearly be an expert after I visit there for 5 days later in the year. But it seems like kind of a small community. I mean, depending on where it happened, but
yeah.
How did baskets get stolen
again? And I saw this as well, that someone said it was stolen, and I didn't look too much into it. I know we had that report one time that a whole course was stolen, and it was actually the Parks Department that pulled it.
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily say that that's the case here.
Yeah, it says article said it was the third time since October.
Jeez,
where are these baskets disappearing to?
Scrap. Somebody's able to scrap them.
Maybe that just seems.
I know, but. I mean, I'm sure you can get a couple $100 for scrap on those.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about that.
Me neither.
The scrap industry. But we'll go out. And it was in Canada somewhere. Oh, Canada, not Alaska? Canada isn't Alaska from what I've been told.
Oh, no. It should be. Seriously. If I have to be consistent. If I say that Wisconsin should just basically overtake the UP and annex it as ours.
That's true.
There's no reason that Canada shouldn't take Alaska.
No, that's I mean,
I love our Alaska viewers, I'm just being consistent here. We've got our own little UP up there that should be ours anyway, and
that's
it's not.
So they're clarifying that they're tone poles. I don't care what they are. I mean, anything short of being a red grocery basket, a little handheld grocery basket, I think anything that's getting consistently stolen, especially when all of them, there's something that just sounds all too fishy about that.
Yeah.
Who knows? After show on Terry's Periscope, that may or may not happen. I wouldn't necessarily hold your breath. Maybe we'll have a really, really brief one, but I'm not sure that'll be necessary. I really don't have too much more. I've got plenty of editing to do. Like I said, to get out.
Yeah, you do get on that.
The final
Why
round.
isn't it out yet?
I know.
I want to see. I want to see who wins.
And I'm not gonna lie. I don't. That's the last thing I feel like doing right now.
I know, but you have to.
Oh, of course, and I will. It's just the last thing I feel like doing at the moment. Not very excited about doing it. Although it will be good because it's probably some of the best golf that I've seen in a while. So I'm excited to put that together for that reason.
Disc Golf Nerd reached out to me and saying that he has some giveaways that he would like to do and how he wants to do them. And honestly, he says I never reached back out to him, and he's right because I didn't. Continue to bug me, but
let's do one now, Disc Golf Nerd.
No, he wants to do it on Facebook. He wants to give the users everybody a chance to win, and I'm great with that. I think that's a great idea because I've been, as I said, I love our live viewers. But it is almost a hair unfair. It's not unfair. I take it back. It's awesome for them, but it would be nice to be able to give it to to everybody. Give everybody a chance to win. So DGN, please reach out to me. Let me know what you think, how you want to do it. They're your discs. You get to decide how they're given away, and we'll just help facilitate it. So that's that.
Seems like a lot of work. I'm just kidding.
Not for us, hopefully. I don't like work. I try to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, I've noticed. Don't worry, I've noticed. Right. No, and don't worry about trying to guilt us, so to speak.
Yeah, no, we're always interested in giveaways. I think it's you're not guilting us. Trust me.
Is Nico on the national tour?
And yeah, I'm sure Nico will play most of the national tour events.
I'm assuming that he will be. Somebody had posted earlier in the night. I don't recall who it was now, but I did see a quick post about something saying they didn't understand why more people don't take the Barry Schultz approach, which is to just basically stay local and dominate.
There's
certainly a valid business and career path there if you're good.
Did you listen to the Barry interview?
I have not yet.
At Final Round, I listened to, I think all of it, most of it, and he just says that he's kind of down to, one or two major events this year, the Tim Selinsky event,
and Worlds probably,
and I don't even know if he's playing Worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that, and he said something else, but I don't know if it was Worlds or not. And he just says it's not, it's just not in him anymore to do that. It's way more, especially with a new job, to just travel locally. And we see that with some. I mean, it seems like there's someone like that in every region. Like if you go a little further north, you have, I can't even say Brinster because he does get to a lot of the bigger events, but he doesn't travel out west very much. He hits USCGs. He kind of stays East Coast for the most part, except for where Worlds is. And so, I mean, he kind of dominates his area.
Yeah.
You've got, in the Midwest, we've got a couple guys out here. We've got Chris Herron, who just, plays well. Keith Warren, who is been playing very well lately, and apparently he's on some big fitness kick. So that's the last thing we need him to get even better. But that is what it is. And so we kind of have that in the Midwest, and I'm sure there's some guys out in the West Coast that I'm not extremely familiar with that area as far as the local players. So it happens. Bradley Williams in Texas is a great example.
Yeah, that he was very much on on the year that he broke some records. But it was all by staying pretty much local.
Yeah, you can just stay locally and play, and a lot of players I think do, and it's just not advantageous to travel. If you ask any of the top pros, it's not cheap and it's not always fun.
So a question asked about Barry in terms of being 43-ish. I believe he's going to, in fact, be 46 later this year. I think he's going to be 46. And Ken Climo, who I think we should get on the show here soon, he will be turning 48 on Sunday. Which there's a funny little thing I got him on an interview, so I guess I don't want to say too much more. But
don't spoil
it. He'll be 48 on Sunday, and that's very impressive. And he had his 4.5-year-old daughter was out on the course this weekend, and he's I guess what I'll speak to that is he said he's going to probably play the fewest amount of tournaments ever yet this year. Now, Tim Selinsky, Worlds, and then stay in Florida primarily.
Try to make and that's what Barry said. Try to make USDGC. Now maybe this gets into what you asked him. He's lost one of the Masters Worlds, right? That he's played. Has he to John
Barry?
Baldwin?
No. So it must be more than that because Barry's won one or two.
Did he win one Masters or two Master World Championships?
Barry, now they're all the years are starting to mesh together.
Yeah.
Kenny's won 2 or 3. And let's just click on Barry Schultz. So Barry Schultz won in Indiana.
Okay, yeah.
in 2013.
And I know Baldwin won
in 11.
In 11.
In his home area of Santa Cruz.
Yep.
2012, Barry took second. Gosh,
Okay.
where was 2012 Worlds now? Now I got to think about it for a second. Charlotte,
Charlotte.
which is where Kenny won.
Yep. All I'm saying is that I was getting to the point of, so Kenny's going to turn 50 soon, and you don't have to answer this if it's part of your little thing. Is he going to move up from Masters to Grandmasters?
We didn't talk about that.
Okay. Because he's clearly still dominant in Masters.
Yeah.
But when he hits 50, is he going to look at that and go, oh, God, I can be super dominant in Grandmasters. Yeah. I'll take all those old fools to town. So I don't think he'll go to Grandmasters yet. You might see him move there when he's in his maybe mid-50s.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll have to see as to what he's thinking. But, when I did ask him a little bit, this was off camera, but I had asked him a little bit about, I said I was kind of surprised to not see him at the World Tour event. Mm-hmm. And, knowing it's very Innova backed and based and whatnot and Discmania and, kind of his whole family, Frisbee family. And he's like, I'm not going to be going to any of the other events. So
Sure.
He didn't see a real advantage in trying to be at the first tour event. So Kevin, 5 U.S. Masters.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think as to how many. Kenny's got 2 World Masters titles, I believe.
That's it? I thought he had more than that. I thought he had at least 3.
He won Pittsburgh.
He won Charlotte.
And he won Charlotte. And that might be it. I think he's got 2, and Barry's just got the 1.
I thought he was a 12x, 3x or something.
No, it's 4, 2, 9, 7, and then 12 goes down, and the 1 went over. It's this whole Sudoku. I saw that hat this weekend, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Anyway. We heard that PHP covered St. Patrick's Classic. I think we heard that at one point that he was going to be covering it. I haven't seen any kind of details as to the release dates or whatnot. He usually takes a little bit longer because he puts out, again, a really quality, high edited, polished event.
Someone asked, what was Kenny putting with? Do you know?
I know, and that's the trick question.
Oh.
I put it out there, and during commentary in both rounds 1 and 2, maybe I'll release it in round 3 at the very end, so you have to watch them all. But nobody's
Sneaky.
guessed. There's literally been 30, maybe 50 guesses. No one has guessed correctly as of right now that I've seen.
You're not just looking for clearly just the mold. You're looking for something more specific?
No, just the mold.
So like if I said AVR.
Correct. You'd be wrong.
Okay.
And
because you're not looking for like CE AVR or something silly.
174.
No, I don't care about weight.
Third run.
Okay.
XT.
Has anyone guessed Bulldog?
No, but that would be incorrect.
Gah.
So it's funny, yeah, and nope, all those
Viper?
Come on, guys, come on, get with the program. All those guesses have been guessed, and all of those are still incorrect. Not a whale, not a P2, not a Colt, not a Nova, Hydra, and I'm not even gonna validate Bulldog. No, I'm not gonna validate any more of those. But no, nobody has correctly guessed it. That much I can say, and they continue to guess on
cool
on the actual
Yeah. Well,
pages.
At the very end of your last one, the answer is
Ontario Rock. That'd be a good one, but no, Wizard. And then people guessing Wizards, and then
non-Innova things,
yeah,
which
exactly.
is not the case.
Climo. Okay, so Country Disc Golf says that Climo has 4 Masters World titles.
Okay.
12, 14, 15. That only equals 3.
Country Disc Golf. Oh, 3. You corrected it. 3.
Okay.
So 12, 14, and 15. So 3. What was the first year he played Masters? 12?
No, because Baldwin beat him in 2011.
Oh, yeah.
Baldwin won that one. 2010 was Indiana Worlds, and I don't know. I'd have to look.
We'll leave that to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody else can go look that up. And every answer that's been guessed out on the board is still incorrect. So I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And we had a conversation about it.
Okay, you had a conversation. Yeah. On camera?
No. But I mean, I'm not lying about it.
No, I know. I'm just like, going to get something like that on camera.
No, well, we had a quick...
Were you surprised at what he was putting with?
Let me think of a
Just a yes or no.
A clue that would.
I don't care. Just a yes or no.
Throw everyone off.
Were you surprised with what he was putting with?
Yes.
Okay.
Short answer is yes.
All right.
I was.
So we'll find out. Maybe next week we'll give it away.
Maybe.
But
it's been pretty funny. The other thing I did is I did a little tiny mini vlog before the tournament started, and I just said, hey, I'm here at Throw Down the Mountain, blah, blah, blah. I gave away some stuff from my previous mini blog, which was 3 months earlier. And then I said, if anyone could guess the winner and the winning score. And clearly a lot of people picked Kenny. Somebody picked Johnny McRae, who wasn't in the tournament.
There.
That'd be kind of tough. Picked all these different people, and no one, about 3 to 5 people total, picked Austin Turner, but no one picked his actual score. There were a few close guesses, but no one picked it. So safe on another giveaway there.
Safe on another giveaway.
I don't have to give something away for that. So I had to go back.
Country Disc Golf says 2011 was Climo's first World's Masters, and he was open in 2010.
Yeah.
So
okay, yeah. So Baldwin, like I said, Baldwin won it in 11.
Yep.
And that was also the year that Phil Arthur pretty much like showed up on site and then was able to get in. And Phil Arthur, funny enough, had won, I believe, the Masters in 2009, and then showed up in 2010 and played Open.
Yeah. It's weird, huh?
And I interviewed him. I'm like, you're crazy. What are you doing? He's like, well, nobody's ever won them in that order.
That's right. Nobody ever won Masters then Open. I remember him saying that.
There's probably a reason for that. I mean, I wish you the best of luck. But
and right now, honestly, there's very few. Like, I think Kenny could.
And Barry.
Kenny, Barry, and Johnny. If Johnny
and Johnny McRae.
If Johnny went and played Masters, won it, then turned around, he could probably next year play Open and have a chance to win it. Those are really the only 3 people.
Yeah, I would say practically yes, that could win it in Open. Nope, all your answers are still wrong, guys. Kenny and David Eilers.
I think it's an 86 softie.
Somebody guessed that earlier. That's also not an end of a disc.
No.
Okay,
I suppose.
That's Whammo. So, somebody. However, Sonics were thrown by Kenny. As well as David Eilers they throw the Sonic. I watched a Sonic for the first time ever go 300 feet. David Eilers had thrown it on a hole.
That's tough.
Interesting. Yeah, he put it at like.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up hyzer. So.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for us?
Other than incorrect guesses?
Yeah, I'm not.
And the fact that I mean, you don't even know the answer, but
I have no clue what the answer is. One of the things I'm curious about is how much delay we have. When I ask a question, how much delay?
Well, all you gotta do is
Yeah. I'm just looking at how much delay is on the feed. I'm gonna see when my finger comes up on the board. I started at 40, so that's 10 seconds. Oh, it's got quite a ways. I bet you it's almost a 30-second delay.
Wow. Why is it so much?
It's just that's the way.
Is that on purpose?
It's the way YouTube always is. There's 20 seconds. This is really exciting audio for all you listeners as I'm just holding a finger in there. 25 seconds.
Yeah, this is the most riveting stuff we've ever had.
We are pushing 30 seconds. There's a 30-second delay from when we talk to what you guys see. Yeah.
Did I see, speaking of podcast, I think I saw Central Coast did a podcast of their own. A Reddit podcast.
A Reddit, yeah, Simon Lizotte podcast.
Simon Lizotte
and there was somebody else on there
Eric
too.
Oakley.
And Eric Oakley.
That's what I was going to open the show with, and then you sidetracked me. Eric Oakley and Simon Lizotte, I don't know who to credit, I think it's Simon, has created his own vlog series.
Yeah, Simon said that he's going to try to learn from Eagle.
Please. I commented and said, so everyone thinks they can vlog now, huh?
Vlogging itself is easy.
Yeah, I know. And I was just giving him a hard time. But, yeah, I watched the vlog.
Okay, I did not.
I did.
How was it?
The best vlog ever, Simon. The best one ever. So I'll just say that.
Disc Golf Nerd asks, any advice for budding podcaster? Find a different subject. Don't do disc golf.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
Yeah, if you find a good suggestions, let us know.
I could use a new co-host, so if you could send one my way.
No, I don't really have any advice for. Really, just try to be a little organized, because that's all we are, is a little organized.
A little.
I create a show note usually sometime on Tuesday, and share it with Dana and Zoe and Terry. and I'll kind of do a quick framework where I throw together an outline where I have kind of an order, and if I have any notes, I put them in there, like usually for Yuli's picks. I'll put down last week's winners or whatever and how many points they have. If I come up with any notes or subjects as far as media or news, I put them in there. If we know who we're going to interview ahead of time, sometimes I'll put like just subjects that we want to hit, like for Austin, and I put like Kenny, talk about first A-tier win, things like that. So just be a little organized, and then you don't even need, depending on what you're doing, you really don't even hardly need any equipment, just a USB mic and Audacity. That's really about it. And then you can go ahead and put it out on, if you want to go the free route, you go ahead and put it out on archive.org, or you can try SoundCloud, but I think SoundCloud costs money.
Country Disc Golf says that Climo first played World Masters in 2012. He didn't play in 2011, and he did not because his elbow was injured in 2011. And I remember him withdrawing from that event, and I was thinking, oh man, I might get a new record for most consecutive Worlds play now. But yeah, he withdrew. He did not compete in the 2011 Worlds at all. And then Baldwin. Baldwin had to get past all the other really good players too, and then Baldwin had a super great week, and the stars aligned, and I remember one of the questions immediately that followed that. That's before we were doing any kind of broadcasting, but that was immediately what someone almost devalued or decredited him a little bit, saying, well, you didn't have to get past the champ. Well, he clearly beat all the other Masters players, and that doesn't I know, I'm just saying I definitely so anyway,
he asks, Disc Golf Nerds asks how we record Skype calls.
Do we record them?
Yeah, technically. I have a program which we paid for that we do a lot of our broadcasting with, called Wirecast. Wirecast creates a virtual camera with whatever it sees on screen. So what our guests see is exactly what you guys are seeing, but they're seeing it because they can't watch due to usually bandwidth. We don't want them watching YouTube and us because there's a 30-second delay, as we know. And on top of that, so what I do is I push it through Wirecast and then output it to Skype. Skype sees it just like it pretends it's a camera and audio, so they see what I'm putting out. And then I record it on Wirecast. So that's how I record the calls. You can also record if you run Skype through your mixing board. If you have one, you can record that way. I don't know other ways to record Skype, to be honest. I know it's kind of a pain.
I thought Skype has a default in it
Does
itself to be able to record it. I'm almost positive you can, because I've had to do that before. So. Or maybe there was a free third-party app. Yeah. Actually, that might have been it. The question was asked, did you guys watch the Central Coast? I saw it this morning when I woke up after I finally got more than 5 hours of sleep for the first time. I woke up, I saw that it existed, and
I haven't watched it.
I was able to watch literally the first...
Is it a video?
Yeah, there's 2 videos. Yeah, They did a video... So what I believe, and this is where I was kind of intrigued. They have a pre-call that's 6 minutes of virtually nothing, and actually then they went into. Well, I mean, they admit there was. It's no more exciting than our pre-show of us just sitting here, and then they went to the actual interview, and I believe they used Google Hangout as their setup,
as we could as well.
And I saw them introduce Simon. They introduced Eric. There was like one question that I heard, I think, for Simon, and then that was it. That's all I don't know if I got out of bed or what I did, but I then got pulled away from it. So that's all I saw. I'll be interested to go back and watch it at some point, but that's all that I saw. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is.
Yeah.
Not here. Nuh-uh. That's, yeah. You're going to have to tune in, watch the video blog. It'll be hidden. I'll just put the name kind of like my Find Your Whale Sack.
Just like the whale sack?
Yeah. No, so it's and no, it still actually was nothing that has been listed from what I could see and recall. Don't quote me on that. I didn't see all the input. But no. Wait, did somebody say CE T-Bird? Because that's wrong too. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. We appreciate it. Everything. You go talk to Kenny. But has someone guessed it? I don't believe anyone has guessed it on any of my video blog pages Or there was a thread created on Facebook about it. Somebody said Terry said that he's not putting with a KC AVR, and sure enough, all these people guessed on there, and I didn't see that, the correct answer there.
Well, and again, don't answer if I'm right or wrong. I would think maybe it would either be the Yeti Pro AVR, is that considered? Do you consider that AVR? Like if I say AVR, would you consider the Yeti Pro different?
I would want you to say Yeti because it's substantially different.
Or the Mic Pro AVR.
Okay, both have been guessed and both are wrong.
I assumed as much.
Now I'm getting called a dickbag.
As you are. That's fine.
As I am. That's what I do. All right, we're gonna wrap up our after show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Not a lot of substance here today, but we don't ever guarantee or promise any.
Not for the after show.
Not ever. So for Johnny V and myself, this was the after show for Podcast 81. We appreciate you guys tuning in, sticking with us, especially this late here tonight for a very long and semi-productive night. We'll see you guys next week. We're gonna have a great show for you then when you step inside the Smash Box.